welcome back everybody. It's NewMutator. How's it going? It's good to see you again. And I got with me, I have Paris, who's the tournament organizer for this year's Myth World Cup 2016, which is, we're actually going to be looking at the finals here. So this is the finals game one between Rat King and, help me out, Paris. You there?
The White Foundation versus the Syndicate.
There you go. So Rat King and the Syndicate versus I guess the White Foundation is Limp's team, or is he the captain?
Yep, they're the purple team this game, and Rat King is captaining the white team.
That's correct. So let's introduce the players really quick before we move on. So with Rat King and the Syndicate, we have Lizard King, Adrenaline, Paris, who's joining me, obviously, Rar, Argos, Akira, and Kryptos. For the White Foundation, or TWF, we have Limp, of course, captaining Helicopter Monkey Pilot, Garrick Noble Steed, who others may know him as Genghis Khan, Gekko, Trevelyan, Eastwind, and Cruniac.
Trebellion.
Trevelyan. Oh, I should have
Yeah,
known.
I don't know. That's my attempt.
I think that's better. Trevelyan. Let's just say that. That works.
I think when I was 15, I pronounced it like Trebellion or something.
So he's an old
I
school
was,
player, right? Like he's been around for a minute.
yeah. He was on the Syndicate. He was on the White Foundation.
The original?
10 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, the original ones.
And was he the only player on his team that was part of the original roster?
I'm pretty sure Limp was in TWF or the Syndicate.
I see.
And who else was there? Shiden was on the roster. He might have played a couple games. Broken Cow was on the roster. They had a lot of people on their roster.
Yeah, I remember back in the day.
The
They
old
were
rosters.
one of the, I don't know, I don't want to say premier teams, but they were up there. Pretty much
Yeah,
every
they
tournament.
were always competing with the top dogs, you know?
That's what I remember. So yeah, we're going to be looking at game one of the finals. So Syndicate clawed their way back up through the bottom bracket for this opportunity to unseat TWF here to be the champions of this year, this year's Myth World Cup tournament. What Before the game starts, what do you see about these trades? Do you see anything unusual?
Um, well, we have a bit more thrall, I guess.
A bit
Uh,
more.
yeah, while TWF,
They only
they're
have
opting for
one.
like more archers. Yeah, so we got like more units on the map, but I think they have more value in their units, especially because I think our strategy going into this was we wanted to send our bows mid and have the warriors go on the flanks, but be pretty passive, let the bows do the work. But as you can see, they have quite a bit more bows than us.
Hmm.
At least like a whole nother 3 or 4.
So what's the idea behind that? Are you thinking you don't want to max out the archers because they're slow? It's territories. You want speedy melee? Is that the thinking? Like what
Flag
did
captured.
were there any considerations that went into the strategy that you can disclose?
Flag captured.
I mean, you'd have to ask Rat King more about it.
Okay.
Flag.
You know, they're really his strats. I guess we could have put some more preparation into these final strats, but
I see. So you're just going
the way we
on
were
muscle
thinking
memory.
with it, yeah, we were basically thinking that the flanks could adjust. It's territory, so we get time to be flexible. We felt like they were going to bring a ground and pound towards the mid, and we wanted to be able to match up with that.
So you basically just want to win using your, basic myth prowess,
Flag
just
captured.
no need to prepare or anything like that. You're just gonna wing it and try to use your superior skills to get you through. Is that what you're thinking?
I mean, I feel like that's
Flag
like Limp's
captured.
style of captaining here. Like Rat King puts a little more preparation, especially like with the finals, and like with Sin, he would put in the extra effort, which was
Flag
always cool.
captured.
But I think, you know, when you go and think instinctively and you're like, all right, well, we could match up here, then you're looking at what units they got, what units your team has. You know, we don't take into consideration that because they have more archers, you know, the longer game kind of benefits them more. You know, that's more volleys of arrows going through the air, things like that. Whereas, like, we kind of, if we had hit them early on, I feel like we might have been much better off rather than trying to play them out for like a long late game. I mean, I'm not trying to spoil too much as to what's going on,
I
but I
think you
probably already
spoiled
have.
enough already, but so you're saying that
Flag
um,
captured.
you it's possible that you should have strategized a bit differently in this first game, um, or at least
Yeah,
settled on something that gelled more with the way you intended to play this game.
yeah, like the trade could have
Flag
complemented
captured.
the strategy a bit more, or the strategy could have complemented the trade a bit more.
I
Yeah,
see.
pretty much. But
Okay, and the reasoning is, the maxing out the archers is a good idea if you're planning on using them for the majority of the time in the match, the allotted time in the match. Um, and you're saying that, but you had there was no way you could have known that that's the approach they would have taken, right?
well, that's true. I mean, you know, there's time to adjust in game and figure out what people are doing. Um, you know, I guess a little bit more attention could have been made to that, but um, yeah, I don't know. It's not like we're there while he's trading the units, able to see what he's doing.
Flag
So
captured.
Well, the game type is territories, so basically the team with the more flags by the end of when the timer expires or when a team is eliminated, the team with the most flags will win this game one. So far, it's very few casualties, 88, 85%.
Flag contested.
But looks like TWF has two more
Flag
flags
captured.
than the Syndicate.
Flag contested.
yeah, they got better map control at the moment for sure. I mean, if you notice,
Captured.
Sin's kind of broken off. They have like the northern force and the southern force. And aside from like some thrall defense at home, like we're like split up pretty badly.
Yeah, it looks like Gekko is being annoying, sending that goal to contest the backfield.
You gave me a lot of trouble on this map early on. He was out microing me for sure, and
Yeah,
I felt confident. Uh, yeah, you know, for a couple of seconds, and then I was like, "Shit, he's got me in the bag."
yeah, it looks like he's going to be chasing you down in the south. So Gekko with the southern flank for TWF. The northern flank for Syndicate, though, Argos and Akira are going to look to make something happen. They're going to run into Eastwind, though. And that's just the tip of the iceberg, as Noble Steed is there as well. I mean, RAR and Cryptos are holding it down mid-ish, sort of, but that's a lot of units that are tied up in a small little area. Same thing with Adrenaline.
I mean, Dren's just forced in this scenario where he's playing against like twice the amount of archers. We have more people with war packs, but like the war packs, they're just moving around. I feel like this is a theme you'll see throughout the finals where like you just have these idle war packs doing nothing, just waiting. I
Hmm.
don't know what they're waiting for, but um,
Well, looks like Paris, you're going to throw down some pus on Gekko and maybe get a warrior, but not much else other than that. There is one warrior going down, and I don't know if Gekko's going to be able to get away or not. He's holding on to his pus, trying to find a opportune moment to throw that. He throws it down, but it doesn't do a whole lot. However, think he freezes enough again. Nope, he's going to try backing out. Okay, well that was a disaster for Gekko, I think. Meanwhile, in the north,
Captured.
looks like Eastwind's going to be trying to chase out Argos and
Akira.
Akira.
Yeah. And he's accompanied by Limp now.
That's correct.
So they got
Whoa.
a bit of an advantage up top. They have at least one more plus, or no? Sin's got 4 plus. Looks like TWF has 2 left, so we'll have to see how this fight goes down.
81-82%, and it looks like Paris getting pus. That's not good. Uh-oh. What's he going to...
Gekko's out
he's
for
not going
revenge.
to be able to do much here. Alright, so yeah, Paris definitely coming up short in the south. And in the north, Syndicate's not looking so great either. They were driven back by the superior numbers of TWF. And it looks like you're going to get cleaned up here, Paris. Unfortunately for you. Does throw
Yes,
out the
yes.
suicide pus. Get the goal, man. Get the goal. Oh, well. Doing what he can. Trying to get the... Oh, he gets the warrior. I guess he was... The thought is to vet up on the warrior and then get the goal
I mean,
immediately after.
now that I'm looking at it there, after I got like the second to last hit on that war, I could have switched it up to the goal, and I think taking down the goal and the war would have been possible, but still that last warrior up would have finished me off, so it wouldn't matter.
Yeah, but if
No.
he overtakes you, you can still survive possibly, but...
Maybe. I mean, it's such a small skirmish, man, and like...
It's tough, man.
It's like a 12-minute game, so like we're not even like... We're just a bit over halfway done with it.
And actually, Limp
unless
is
it's just flagging done.
on the offense. He's moving in. He's moving south here. Limp and Eastwind are on the prowl. Akira and Argos. They're I think they're a little conflicted here. Do they try to push back? Do they try to fall back? What's the deal? What are they doing? Meanwhile, Adrenaline, I think he likes these challenges. He likes to be the underdog and push himself. We'll see, though. He is heavily outnumbered, as you say, on the archers, but he is going to be joined here by Cryptos, who's going to lend him some support. And even Rar might be making his way over. Oh, I heard some pus happen somewhere. Actually, TWF is going to be pushed here by Syndicate in the
We're
north.
up in the north.
Yeah, they're being
Yeah.
pushed back. They're going to retake that flag.
Captured.
Let's look at the flag. So 5-3.
Flag.
Syndicate's actually up, but TWF has a numbers advantage, 76-68%
captured.
respectively.
Flag.
I don't know. What do you think? What's the plan here? What are you guys hoping to do?
I mean, right now,
Captured.
like I said at the beginning of the game, our plan was to really have mid grind things out, and it's finally in this scenario where like, a 1 versus 2 player or twice as many units combination is much more difficult to deal with than like a 3 to 4 ratio, so.
yeah, and
We're finally in that position, but like I don't know. Like I was saying before, man. Like
there's
they had
so
the
many
number in
archers.
man.
So many all of TWF's archers are here in the middle. And
You know what I'm saying? We
yeah,
just have no
that's
pus
rough.
left for that. All of our remaining pus
There's
is
one.
all up in
Cryptos,
the north.
Cryptos has
at
one,
the moment.
but there is some counter pus though. It's, Cruniac and HMP both have a pus goal, as well as Garrick. So yeah, you only have 1 pus goal that I can see. Oh, maybe 2. Yeah, Lizard King has 1 as well, but they have 3.
Flag captured.
Even though Rar has the high ground, actually, he just lost another archer there. Yeah, it looks like the archer battle is not going so well for Syndicate. They're down 12% now,
Flag contested.
and
It's like 5 arcs to 10 right now, man.
yeah, the flag back and forth is it's not that great for
Flag
Syndicate. They
captured.
want they need the numbers. They need to take out these archers, but there's not really. They don't have the tools to do it, and they're losing all of theirs with 2 minutes remaining.
Yeah, I don't know. That I guess if you could go back and change some things, I mean that fight right there, we were better off just not fighting.
Flag.
Well, what?
Just backing off.
Yeah, so just giving up the mid area. Yeah,
I
there's
mean,
only one archer.
essentially, it keeps at least some units alive this last couple of, you know,
Yeah,
you got like a minute 30 seconds left.
The
There's
2-minute
only one
warning.
archer alive now.
Yeah, and all of a sudden, it looks like TWF.
Flag.
Well, it's
Contested.
still about a 12-point spread. So I mean, you know, those losses are offset elsewhere, but losing that dwarf is huge. Rar being pussed by Cruniac.
Flag captured.
There's another counter dwarf. Crypto's taking
Flag
out
contested.
who the HMP's dwarf. And Cruniac getting some damage on his goal. He's out of pus though.
1 minute.
Garrick still has one. But yeah, that thrall isn't going to be worth very much without the archers
Flag contested.
to support him.
Trevelyan's just cleaning up mid. Right now,
That's-
Dren's still under fire.
Flag contested.
Yeah? Does he still have an archer? No.
Oh, he's still
all-
fighting Cruniac.
He just has 4 thrall and a
Captured.
dwarf. Cruniac with 2 archers. He's basically going to just try to
Flag
chip him
captured.
down, but he's going to be
30
relieved here by
seconds
Limp.
remaining.
30 seconds remaining.
Flag
And in the
contested.
south, Lizard King, he's going to walk off the flag. The archers are going to chase him off.
Flag contested.
What flags? What else is there? I mean, Adrenaline's going to
Flag
try to hold
captured.
on, but he's just going to be
Flag
cut down by
contested.
Limp. They're going to try to take the flags in the north, but
Flag captured.
they should be able to take this one. Gekko has the thrall on the flag. He should
Sudden death.
be taken out there. Paris does take that one. And actually, 5-4 flags. It's
Flag
not that.
contested.
5-3 now. So yeah, there's about a 30-point spread. What other flag is there? There's the mid. Ouch. Looks like Akira taking a lot of
Flag
damage there.
captured.
Yeah, there's not much he can do. Argo's trying to swoop in, but there's too much there. The dwarf Trevelyan. Ouch, ouch,
Flag
ouch.
captured.
Oh, he actually misses. And there's still a contestation here. Is Rat King trying to do what he can. He is going to be cut down, I
Flag
believe.
contested.
At least
Yeah, at
chased
this
off
point,
the
they
flag.
just cover so many units on the map, you know?
Contested.
Yeah, and they're still up only by 1 flag. And that should
Flag
be it.
captured.
Yeah. That should be GG. We're in sudden death mode. There it is. Okay, so 6 flags to 3, 49% to 15. TWF is going to be victorious here in game 1. Yeah, so any final thoughts on the way this game went? Other than what
I
we've
mean, we
already
just kind of
discussed.
created that unnecessary disadvantage where, you know, if the plan is to ride on your mid grinding it out, you want to give them the best weapons possible, and you know maybe we could have had better weapons there. But other than that, I mean, TWF played us really well here. They saw the mismatch.
You think
know.
it was a distribution issue, or what? What do you
I mean,
think?
if you think about it, we had what, 3? We have 4 Warpackers, 3 people mid, and then we had Rat King on like goals.
Oh, did he do the goal pack?
Because it's 8 on 8. Yeah, he had like a small amount of goals.
I
think
see.
I recall him.
I've seen the Rat King goal pack maneuver strat in the past, so I know that that's a thing. I didn't think that he would do that here. I don't
No, he
know.
likes to use them. I mean,
Yeah, the goal pack I've seen it used particularly by Rat King, but I just don't. I am not in a position to comment on the effectiveness of that technique. But
yeah, I don't know. I mean, statistically here, he doesn't net any kills with it, I guess. He was able to like reinforce my units in the game, which was pretty helpful for me, at least.
But that could have been, those could have been unit trading points tied up that could have been better used in other ways. So it's hard to say. It's hard to say that that is justified. But
Oh
uh,
yeah, I mean, Limp kind of went for more like your value picks. So you vet up on your warriors, your archers. You
fewer
don't have to
thrall
get too
too.
crazy on duffs, but you want to max up the pus.
Speaking of duffs,
And
Trevelyan, 13 kills, 2 losses, 28
yeah,
damage.
man.
That's some pretty good ratios. Even though Gekko had more damage uh, in the end.
I
Uh,
mean, you get that matchup mid, man, where it's 3-on-4, man. Trev took advantage of that.
yeah. So anything else you see you want to comment on before we wrap it up and move into the next game?
No, man, I'm all set. How about you?
Yeah, I'm set. All right, so Paris, 10 and 10, 15 damage. It's actually not too bad if you think about it, because that's what it's like 1/5 of your team's total damage.
I
Yeah.
guess so, man. But I mean, I played a little sloppy here and there, where it's like, no, I still had units dead that Rat King's extra units went into my hands, but so essentially we were playing 7-on-8, just because I kind of threw away my units early. I mean, me and Gekko end up with the same amount of losses. I guess we were playing a bit more
Yeah,
aggressively than the other players in
I
the
think
map.
you
I mean,
broke even, sorta, but uh, I guess Gekko came out on top because he had a lot more damage dealt.
oh yeah,
But
twice as much, man.
well, so that'll be game one, and thanks for watching. Stick around, and we'll see you in the next game. Run, Paris. Oh, you still have a pus. Look at that. All right, welcome back, everyone. NewMutator is in the house, joined once again by Paris. How's it going, Paris?
Yo, what's up, NewMutator? How you doing, man?
Yo, yo. So this is game two of the finals match of this year's Myth World Cup, this year being the year 2016, in case you weren't aware. And our two finalist teams are TWF, or the White Foundation. And when I say white, I don't mean the color. I mean the myth unit. Is there a better way of explaining that? I don't know. But
Are you talking about your white unit?
what's that? No, man.
Never mind
That's
then.
not a good joke, Paris. Anyway, opposite TWF, we have the Syndicate, led by Rat King, and they're the challengers this year. They were knocked out into the bottom bracket. I did cover the bottom bracket finals earlier, and I apologize for taking a while to get to the finals, but I was sick, and then I had some work stuff getting in the way, but here we are, so everything is forgiven, hopefully. This is a Poison Holiday, which is the tournament edition, I believe. And Flag Rally is the game type, of course. So it's a Tro map. You're going to see these big guys running around, these overpowered Tro units. 24 unit trading points a pop. And the other OP unit are going to be these Fetch. And they're what, 8 unit trading points each, I believe? As well as the Mortars.
Yep.
So, kind of an interesting mix here, unit mix. Yeah, so introduce players real quick. We got Limp leading TWF in the south with Noble Steed, Garrett, Gekko, Trevelyan, Eastwind, Cruniac, and Helicopter Monkey Pilot. And they're going to be the, I guess, in the upper bracket finalists, I should say. But opposite them in the north is going to be Rat King leading the Syndicate with Lizard King, Paris, Rar, Demo, Akira, Adrenaline, and Cryptos. And I'd like to remind y'all that Paris is with me commenting on this game. So anything you want to say before the game begins, Paris?
Yeah, I hope everyone forgot
What?
forgot my awful joke. Um, so yeah, we
Not not anymore. Thanks a lot, buddy. But,
true. Um, So I think we picked this map.
Interesting. Rat King decides to go soulless, whereas Limp does not.
Yeah, we'll have to
What's
see how that plays out.
what's the reasoning for that? They're just gonna park somewhere on some impassable terrain, like on one of these hills or something, or what? What's the
Yeah,
deal?
that could
Yeah,
work.
next
I
to a
mean,
flag.
there's no heals on the map either.
Now the issue,
And
of
yeah, next
course,
to these flags, I mean,
the issue with
because
that,
the main flag is contested at these two mid flags in the beginning,
right?
and you got those hills right next to them, man.
That's
Try
correct.
to push uphill too,
Also the home
get over
flag,
the
but
impassable
Flag
water.
captured.
yeah, yeah. Now the
I mean,
issue,
I
of
wouldn't even
course,
put them
yeah.
on the home flag because that's just all flat ground.
Flag
Yeah,
captured.
true that. It's a little
Flag
bit harder
captured.
to not get kicked by the tro when you're in
Flag
that
captured.
position. Um, but even despite that, the issue is the fetch,
Flag
right? Because the fetch
captured.
can totally render your
Flag
Solus
captured.
useless if they get close enough. And even if they're not close enough, they can just destroy your volleys. Um,
Well, sure, but I mean, if you
but I
think about
guess
it, this
any
is a
extra
huge
pressure you
map,
can
man.
get, yeah, any extra pressure you can get could be rewarded. So we'll see what happens here. Looks like the Troa are going to be split up um, two ways for each team, and the Troa are going to be spotting each other out. There's Lizard King versus Genghis, and Adrenaline and Eastwind can be squaring off on either side. In the middle, looks like Cryptos and Rar versus Gekko. So, but that's going to be double the fetch for the Syndicate in the mid, which means that there's quite a lot of fetch elsewhere for TWF.
Yeah, they got Cruniac has some fetch over in the east, helping support that flag, and it looks like they might be pushing. I don't know.
So flag rally, the way that works is the team to tag all the flags. What do you say? Sequentially, first is the winning team. Alternatively, I guess you could eliminate the opposing team. That's another win condition. But yeah, you want to tag each individual flag if possible, and they're numbered.
Yeah, and you don't have to tag all of them either.
You don't.
There's no ties here. So right now, even though both teams have 4 flags, Syndicate got theirs first. So they currently have the lead. TWF is in the position where they have to push, at least by the end game, free open a flag.
Looks like Adrenaline looking to chip down Eastwind's Tro with his Morts. The problem though is that the Tro can just kick the Morts if he gets close enough, and there's no uh, there isn't any there isn't really any consequences like there would be if you kicked a regular dwarf with satchels.
Well, I suppose so, but I mean,
But
I guess that's how the souls play into factor. Even if the Tro aren't around,
here we
at
go.
least.
See Akira ascending the hill here above flag 4 in the west for the Syndicate. He's going to try to discourage TWF from pursuing the tag there. And actually, TWF is going to retreat. Eastwind and Trevelyan and HMP are just going to be sitting there. Not really sure what to do, I imagine. Although, we do have to mention the surprise flank here from Cruniac making its way north.
And Limp saying pinch west, pinch west. So that's where is
Uh-oh.
that me, Adren, and Akira. We're all about to get pinched.
Yeah, Demo is he's in a tough spot there as well. And the home flag's going to be scouted here of the Syndicate. West is going to be pinched by what, though?
I think Genghis's Tro was supposed to move in, but I guess
Oh,
Lizard King went
he's
and kept
just
him in check.
he's just chilling. He's still just facing off.
Flag captured.
I
Neither
guess too
neither
late for the pinch. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think that pinch is happening anytime soon. However, that top flag, flag 3, it's going to be picked up, and all of a sudden TWF is in the lead. So that flag is promptly abandoned. Rat King's going to take those units and try to beef up the mid, I think. The home flag. Garrick's in
And at
an
least try to
interesting
keep
spot.
that melee in check.
Looks like Cruniac might be getting rushed here. He's going to zap that one berserk. Is he going to get the other? See, the Lizard King is making quick work of that defense. Actually, Cruniac is going to make it to Genghis, but is that going to be enough? I don't know.
It's going to be a battle.
Lizard King's not stopping. He's backed up by tons of these Mercuridia. He's going to run in there. He's going to back out just a little bit. His Mercuridia is going to get zapped. But the momentum is purely with the Syndicate here. So they're going to attempt to surround. Those fetch are all but gone. There we go. And yeah, Cruniac is in a rough spot here. He's going to back out, I think, with his life. One of his Tro, though, is very close to death. And did you say that there were no heals? I didn't see any, so I think...
That's correct.
So there, yeah, I think Syndicates has the advantage here. Although Lizard King moves in with his Tro and actually takes a lot of damage. So it's a little bit evened out slightly. But let's look at the numbers. 78, 91% Syndicate.
What do you got for time?
For time?
Sir.
I got 5:15 right now. So.
Alright.
And it looks like Lizard King with the other Tro, he's splitting up those Tro. He's multitasking. One Tro he has on the home flag of TWF. Are they gonna be able to take this though? It's a lot of melee.
You'll see Gekko's getting pinched in the mid.
I see that. Gekko has been all but abandoned, and there's nothing here. Yeah, he's gonna run out with his berserks, try to hang on to those, but those fetch are gone. And fetch are really important here. So I think TWF knows the writing's on the wall at this point. 91, 70%.
They still have the flag lead. Like, we had to capture a flag there, and we still didn't get the lead, so we still need one more.
Well, you're gonna get that one more here on flag 8. In just a second.
And I'm
Those
cleaning up
malls.
flag 7 as well.
Where do you see flag 7? Oh yeah, flag 7 is... Oh, and I guess Lizard King passed off that Tro to Paris. That's right. So all that remains is basically Eastwind's little army here. 85, 56%. About a 30-point spread here. It's going to be rough for TWF as the lead has gone to the Syndicate. So ball's in their court. I'm not sure what they're going to be able to pull off here, as the element of surprise is no longer with them. And now these Solus have a lot of utility, as they're able to deter that Tro. Really any kind of push. The high ground too with the Mortardorf. Oh, unfortunate dud. It's gonna be a battle. Ooh.
Flag.
I don't think Eastwind's gonna really be able to pull this out, but you never know. He's doing all right actually. He's not doing too bad, but he's gonna have to vacate. He's all by himself now, and he's gonna be. Oh, wow! The final flag has been taken. I didn't even see that. Yep, looks like
yeah,
Paris.
scooped it up in the southwest.
Paris scooping it up. Flag 6 falls, and the Syndicate come out on top. Even as they took the home flag of, or even as TWF took their home flag. So
They also tagged that mid flag, flag number 4. The Mort stepped off it for a second. I don't know if you got that.
what mid flag?
The west flag.
Oh, did they? I was not aware. I did not know that. Yeah, I mean,
I know.
if
I
you
wish I could see where your camera was.
really.
Yeah. Man.
Well, yeah, sorry about that, but
Well, that's all good.
we're a
But
little
it's
limited
okay.
here. But yeah, so flag 4, I mean, with that tag, they had victory imminent. But flag 1, where's flag 1? This
Up
flag
in the
here. Yeah.
northwest.
Yeah, flag 1 was amply defended, plus there was very little in the area. I mean, you can see the North Force that took flag 2 was on its way, but and actually they could have vetted up on demo here. But without more time, there was no way they would have been able to take that. Although they did even it up a little bit here, 56, 34%. So it went from like a 30 plus point spread to about a 20-point spread in the end. Yeah. So any comments, Paris? Wow,
Um,
look at you, 57 damage, 17 kills, 4 losses. And Lizard King too, 79 damage. It's quite a lot. 12 kills, 2 losses for him.
I definitely thought it was one of Kilt's best games of the whole tournament. I I played well, but I also got like units handed in the middle of it, so that's why my ratios look a little buffed up. But um, it was interesting to see that play in the East. I once I saw it happening,
Oh, that rush?
I think I was yelling over the microphone or something, just like so pumped up to see that flank go well.
Well, it put Syndicate back into the match. I mean, they were shut out so far out of the first game. So it's tied up here after the second game, 1 game apiece. Makes things more interesting. I mean, if Syndicate were at a deficit, 0-2, that would be really bad for morale, as Syndicate would need to win more games in order to win the tournament than TWF, as they rose from the bottom bracket. They're at a disadvantage.
Well, yeah,
I think that's worth pointing out
they'd
just
have to win
because,
6.
yeah. So I think that's worth pointing out because, wait, 6 out of 7, or just
No,
six
I
total?
mean like if Syndicate won 6 games in a row, they would have been champions. If TWF won 4 games in a row, they would have been champions. You see what I'm saying?
In a row. Oh, I see.
Yeah, you win that first best of 7. That's the top bracket
And
champions
then
getting their
sudden
first
death.
double elimination loss, and then that's why it would go into sudden death, and then you need 2 in a row.
Right. So
But
yeah,
as a team, we'd kind of been through that before with TWS. We got knocked down to the bottom
that's right.
bracket and things like that before. So I mean, it's not a situation you want to be in regardless, but it wasn't something that was necessarily on our minds. We kind of wanted to go in and try to win these early maps as fast as possible and just get to sudden death.
Right. So this is just a prelude for you, but I mean, dropping the first game should have been, I would imagine, would have been demoralizing. I think it's worth mentioning that Syndicate would need to win more games than TWF because of how that might affect, the psychology of the teams coming into this throughout these games.
Well,
Where
sure, but at the same time, what's the psychology behind having already lost 5 games to having lost 3?
well, the
Um,
the reason why I think that's important to note is because they're not on equal footing. Whereas somebody just hopping into these films might assume that these teams they're basically it's a best of 7, but it's not not completely a best of 7. There's more to it than
yeah.
that.
I mean, yeah, TWF has that buffer layer of comfort,
Right.
so
So
to
I
speak.
think it's important to make sure our viewers know that uh, as at some point while we're covering these games.
I
Uh,
mean, that's a good note, man. They also had 26 players. Syndicate only had 16, so
well, when you
they had
say
quite a
20,
player pool to pick from.
when you say 26 players, you don't mean that they had 26 players playing for them at once. They just had a pool of 26 players to draw from to field a team, is
Oh
what
yeah.
you're saying. Okay. All right. Making sure everybody's on the same page here. All right.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
yeah,
8 max. That's what we've had for these finals, man. It was pretty cool to have the finals played out that way. We've had, the past couple of years before that, it was like 7-on-7 with subs, and then there was like a 6-on-7 finals. So see this one get buffed out and see the meta change.
yeah, and
Full
that's
fucking teams,
was
man. I
that
like
was your
that.
idea, wasn't it? I mean, you are the
I
tournament
really wanted to
organizer.
push for that.
Yeah.
That was one of the main reasons why I built it the way it was. So at
So
the end of the road,
it's I
you
just
don't
want
get
to
screwed.
I just want to talk about this a little bit more. So the what's the motivation behind making that change? Is that because, the subsystem is inherently unfair, so you just want to make it, you know, uh, in other words, you just want to open it up a little bit so that there's it's not necessarily the subsystem, that it's actually, teams can just they can field the people who would be their subs are actually secondaries for the team. So you're making it. There's no, in other words, there's no room for accusations of unfairness because now it's like formalized.
Um,
Is that a motive? What, I just want to know, what's the rationale? What's your thinking with making that change? I think it's an
well, my
interesting change.
thinking
Yeah.
was that like when we first started using the subsystem, and even until now, it was like the better teams would get the better subs, and at the beginning, it was because Grim had rated everyone on a ball rating system, and he rated each team by a trial rating system.
Right. So you can only
Um,
sub somebody for a comparable ball rating
yeah,
determined by the TO.
and
Uh,
if your team was overpowered, you would automatically be able to get
Anybody
more
you could
skilled
play, you
players.
could
You could
draw
get
from
better
anybody.
players, man,
Yeah.
basically. So, and then that changed up a bit. And now it was more of like TWS was like, I don't know, man. Captains and teams kind of deciding who subs, who doesn't. Then you have like nonsense and infighting and delay games over like stupid crap. So I guess there's a little motivation behind that. And then at the
Right.
same time, the way I see like the Myth World Cup, I don't see it as like a regular like esports tournament or anything like that. Like a lot of tournaments these days, there's a reason why they're only played like within a week. Like Myth World Cup is like a marathon, man. It's 2 months long, sometimes longer, sometimes a little bit shorter, but it's like a marathon of playing this game and really enjoying it. And as the tournaments wind down towards the end, they get more boring because there's less players involved, less things going on, less matchups. Um, and I thought it was a good way to keep things going. I wanted to, you know, I
Keep.
don't know, all
I
those things
see.
together, man. I also wanted to give Sin a good challenge. When we played against Falbara, sometimes they couldn't even field a full team. Sometimes that was really disappointing. So I really wanted to give whatever player wanted to step up as a leader and captain a team. I wanted to give them the tools to be successful, and that if they could convince a player to play for them and on their behalf and on their team's behalf, then by all means, do that.
Now, one of the side effects of this change with the roster rules is we had more than one team. We had a couple of teams with significant overlap. Maybe not, 100% or anything quite like that, but a lot of teams were basically sharing rosters, which I thought was an interesting, or basically sharing uh, the players that are comprising their rosters. Um,
Yeah, man. Crypto's played for both TWF and Syndicate. Um, he also played the most games in the tournament. I think he might have played for the most teams. He was one of the most active players by far.
Now, the way you resolve that is by saying, okay, there's your primary team, and then you can be a secondary for another team or teams, as the case may be. But if any of the teams that you're playing for are facing each other in a match, then you automatically have to play for your primary team. Is that along the lines of what?
Yeah, that was like the original idea, and then each team had like a set amount of primary players and 6 secondary players. You could play for up to 3 teams per weekend out of the 4 matches. So, it somewhat had some balances, but as people like complained, I kind of opened it up a little bit more to really give the captains the power that they wanted
What was
in the tournament.
I mean, what was the complaint that you? I mean, what were people complaining about exactly?
Um, I don't know. I guess roster limits they didn't think they were necessary. Like, I don't
Hmm.
know.
Is that why TWF had 26 players?
Yeah,
The
I mean, at the
most?
end of the
Is that the
day, I
most
was
in the
like, you know
tournament?
what? I think so, by far. I'm pretty sure they had at least 10 on every other team, maybe. Who
Well,
knows? But like, we played them 3 times during the tournament, and each time they were a different team with like different players. So it
interesting.
was really interesting how it came together.
So that's an interesting uh, consequence of this rule change is you do open up the possibility that the same team can be totally different from one week to the next, and very difficult to prepare for in that regard. You're not really sure who's going to show up or you know, what's going to happen with that. I mean, you're not really sure who's going to show up regardless, but this sort of takes it to the next level, I imagine.
I suppose so, man. Yeah. I mean, I like the system overall. I thought it was pretty cool. I thought once people understood it and bought into it, people were coming up to me being like, "Yo, this was pretty cool."
It's
Because
a,
on
it's
one team I'm playing like the power hitter, and like I would never get a chance to play that role on other teams.
It's a
So
unique
like,
solution to, I think, some of the challenges of a diminished player base as a result of this game being, almost 20 years old. But
yeah.
yeah, well, let's wrap it up here and move into the next game. Once again we're covering the final match of the Myth World Cup 2016. This was game 2, and we'll see you in game 3.
Game over.
All right, welcome back, everybody. It's NewMutator, and I'm joined by Paris, and we're bringing you Game 3 of the Myth World Cup 2016 final match between TWF and the Syndicate. This is calm before. Is it calm before the storm?
That is
Or
correct.
yeah, and territories is the game type. So far, the match is tied up. It's one game apiece, and both teams are going to be angling here to get the advantage coming out of this game. You see, it's a lighter map. It's a little bit foggy if we zoom out all the way. You can see there's a lot of precipitation happening. And an interesting thing with the winter maps is the footprints, right?
Yeah, you can track. We were actually taking note of that where they were going in the early game, being able to track those footsteps.
Oh, interesting. So you can see that even through the fog of war, can you?
Yeah, that's one of the few things you could see, like a dwarf explosion, basically.
Uh-huh. We'll point out, we'll try to point that out later. But yeah, so this is, let's introduce the players really quick. Rat King leading the syndicate with Lizard King Paris, the tournament organizer who's joining me for this cast. Akira, Funk, Argos, Adrenaline, and Cryptos rounding out the roster there for the syndicate. For TWF, we have Limp captaining for them with Trevelyan, one of the original players for the early incarnation of the TWF team. Garrick, Eastwind, Cruniac, Helicopter Monkey Pilot, Genghis Khan, and Gekko. So yeah, anything you want to say before we look at these unit trades?
Um, I guess an interesting thing to bring up that hasn't been brought up yet is for the finals maps. We had the top bracket champions pick 4 maps. We had the lower bracket champions pick 3 maps. Then they created a map pool. The top bracket champs got first pick, and we rotated off that. And so far, each team who has picked the map has lost the game.
Ah, was that a trend that continued?
Well, we'll have to see, Mr. NewMutator. Uh,
Fair enough, fair enough.
I guess that is something worth to be noted. Man,
Okay.
I'm exhausted, man. I apologize. But looking at the trades, we have quite a bit more thrall as per tradition
Game on.
on these light maps.
Yeah.
Limp going for a bit less. Looks like he maxed out goals. I think we did as well. But we got less archers once again.
Well,
Maybe.
the
I
game
don't
type
know.
is what? Territories?
Yep.
So, you know, I mean, it's having more bows may or may not work out in this situation. It's hard to say. I do want to mention that there are Heron healers on the map. I believe 3 is the maximum you can opt for, so there's going to be quite a number of heals available throughout the game.
And I guess it's worth noting Syndicate's loading up on bottles
Mm,
Flag
for their
captured.
goals.
where do you see that? Looks like I missed it.
Buy all their units where the thralls are. All their goals just picked up a bunch of bottles.
Flag captured.
Well, I totally missed it, but you know what that means. Oh, here we
Set
go.
that flag.
Yeah, we see HMP throwing some bottles into the water to make the duds.
Oh, HMP's doing it, yeah, and Garrick's
Yep.
working it as well. So it looks like both teams can help bottle plus here.
Flag captured.
Is that, I mean, you guys were doing that too?
Yeah.
Yeah, all right. Both
Flag
teams thinking
captured.
alike here.
Flag captured.
I kind of like Thrall, but the thing with Thrall is that they're a cheap unit. They're cheap, they're relatively beefy. You know, they can absorb a lot of damage, which can be useful in certain situations. And in other situations, it's not very useful if there's artillery present because they're so slow that they have a hard time catching up to anything to deal damage. But
Yeah, they're not at all, man.
used in certain ways, they can be very effective
Flag
as
captured.
kind of like a, you know, I like to use the term thrall wall, but
Yeah. I mean, you'll notice that, like, see, we're using the thrall to basically give some protection to our archers and dwarves mid.
yeah.
Whereas, TWF, they have no melee mid aside from Eastwind's Herons,
Uh-oh.
and like Gekko's in the distance.
Oh, someone just lost their dwarf. You can see his roly-poly head right there. Yeah, that was Paris with the kill. All right, making stuff happen for his team early on. Looks like you're gonna lose that flag though. It looks like Limp with the gold
Flag
pack's gonna hunt you down. Interesting that Limp's going the gold pack route here in Game 3. Not what I expected to see.
Flag captured. Flag captured.
I mean, I'd sooner expect Rat King to do that, take that role, than Limp.
Flag
But,
captured.
you know, you never know,
I
I
mean,
suppose. And he is, sort of.
the
He's got
thing
like
is,
5 right here.
it's like when it's 8-on-8, you got like so many fucking players, man, that you gotta get out units too.
Flag
So
captured.
unless you're a selfish bastard, man, like you're basically reduced down to the whites that you got healed. maybe a couple goals extra.
Well, you know, it depends on the how you want to distribute it. Looks like Cruniac's going to be taunting a little bit. And meanwhile, Syndicate's going to be camping out here. They're going to lay claim to this little, what do you call it? Little outpost area with the houses. It's like the only place where there's civilization. Oh no, there's a house over here. But they're taking over where the houses are. See if we can blow up the map a little bit and look at the unit movements that way. We can see Syndicate's basically in this swath down the mid area,
Flag
and
captured.
TWF has the gold pack in their backfield running around.
I mean, TWF is mostly shifted to the south right now, if you notice.
Yeah, they have
Um,
some units in the
Genghis
north,
and
but
HMP are up in the north, but even if those war packs went to Rome, like those dwarves are stuck up there alone. Um, and I just remember, you know, watching this film afterwards and just noticing, you know,
hmm.
there's a lot of waiting around, whereas like all the action is pretty much happening constantly in the south.
Yeah, here we go. Actually, somebody lost a heron, it looks like. I didn't see who it was. Oh, weird. Looks like Lizard King lost that pus.
Yeah, the pus goes down. Eastman loses a heron down there.
Yeah, but Syndicate's going to be chased out. Trevelyan taking the high ground there
Flag captured.
with the dwarf. And Eastwind and Cruniac going to back him up. Going to be moving in with the pus goals, but there's not a whole lot for them to pus right now, other than... Oh, no, that did not work out, Rat King. Was that Rat King or was that you?
No, that's me, bro.
That was hilarious. Oh my god, that was an unfortunate lay of the land there that prevented that from happening the way you intended. And that pus goes down, but it only freezes one warrior, so I guess that could have been worse, but at the
Much
same
worse,
time...
definitely.
At
It's
the
already
same
pretty
time...
bad, though. Yo, it's pretty awful already, man. I'm
You're
just
only
letting
down
you know.
3%. You're only down 3%. Oh, yeah, that second pus freezes 4 warriors, and that's going to be unfortunate. Even though you have the
Well, you think
Heron advantage, they're not
you can say
heroes, so...
that is like 3%, but when you think about it, the capabilities of those pus bombs take away much more than
Yep.
3%. So, like, letting that fly and it fails and then it blows up all your own shit, I mean, you wanted to talk about demoralizing things before. I mean,
Flag
oof.
captured.
Yeah, that's pretty rough.
You
Whoa!
lose that opportunity.
Yo,
We
Lizard
got shit
King,
going
what?
down.
Oh, there he goes. He chases out that goal.
5
Yeah, he's going to move in here, try to repel. And, you know, we're still in the south. But, yeah, Lizard King to
That's
the
all
rescue,
the
I
action,
guess.
man. They're pitching tents up north. They got the campfires going.
Paris is on the retreat. I don't think he's getting out of that alive. Looks like Lizard. Whoa! Huge pus there from Eastwind. Wow, that was massive. But there's nothing there to back it up, though, as they're going to be repulsed by Lizard King.
Still takes out a dwarf, though, and you'll notice Trevelyan's moving in now.
81, 10-point differential. Where's Trevelyan?
I thought his rotations were very effective during this whole tournament.
Oh, there he is with
He's
the archers.
fighting
Yeah.
with the Dren now. He's basically
Interestingly-
flanking the south.
Flag
I think Rat King could have gone in on that, but he's going to try to move in instead to help save this flag, salvage this battle here on this flag.
Flag contested.
I think he could have gone in on Trevelyan, though. Does he have any pus? No, he doesn't have any pus, so that's the thing that's stopping him.
Flag contested.
So now he's reduced to using these goals as just regular melee
Flag
units,
captured.
not their strength. At this point, would you say it would be worth finding those roots and picking those up with the goals?
I suppose, but at this point,
You think it's lost already? 64%. I mean, you're down by about 16%, but I mean, you think there's no way you can claw back into this?
here's the problem: is a lot of the weapons we had, which were pus, pus bombs, dwarves. A lot of that shit's taken off the map. So now you look at what we got left,
You have
and we
Thrall,
have
and now it's
a
being
Dren getting run down.
triangulated.
Argos is coming in from the north, but right behind him is Genghis with a bunch of units that could easily rear end him.
A Puss Bomb would
And
have been
the
amazing there.
Warpacks are just chilling up north still.
Ouch. Yeah, Lizard King loses a hair in there. Is not so great.
But yeah, man. At this point, it's just like there's a snowball force south. You can't really touch it. It's got all the heals in the world to regen all those units if it wanted to.
Whoa! Oh, huge Puss there from Noble Steed. Is he going to take out that dwarf? And he does. Wow. Adding insult to injury.
That is Genghis for you, man. He's gonna go in a little
Another
bit more.
one too. Jeez, man.
Flag contested.
That's just not nice. That is not nice at all.
That's what I'm saying. Is all this firepower up in the north is just on reserve. So
Yeah, I mean it's just been chilling in that one spot. Let me see. There now some units from the north are going to be streaming in, but I mean it's a little bit late there. As whoa, where did Genghis come from with that dwarf? Just lobbing cocktails in the middle of the force there. Another Puzz, but that hardly does anything from Eastwind.
I've yet to see Dud, and it's
There's the
so
Puzz. All right, Funk with the Puzz there.
Flag
Blasting
contested.
that goal, getting some revenge, but it's a little bit there. It's a tough spot as a lot of these units are vetted up. Actually, none of those are. Oh, there, the vets are on these goals. Holy crap! And on Cruniac's Warriors, but really on the if you look at the healers, that's where the vets are at.
Contested.
Kryptos is facing off with HMP up
gosh.
in the north.
How do you differentiate between Funk and Cruniac? But yeah, they're at this point it's pretty bad, and actually Syndicate's going to get flagged, and TWF is going to grab all 7 and the game early. 69% to 26%. I think, as you said, but I mean, do you think it all came down to that failed bottle puss? You think that was it?
But I mean, that's not it, because you have dude, let me just put old Myth World Cup finals an example, man. You have people lined up, they're all active and poking each other, and it's pretty even across the board. But what we basically just saw was every player in the south, they played Myth for 12 minutes, and everyone in the north, they played Myth for like 2 minutes. You know what I mean? Just there was nothing happening from that north, and if it had made the moves to go and support that south, I think it could have been a little bit different.
Well, here's the thing, though, is they're abandoning the north. Actually, opened up the condition, the win condition for the flag, the being flagged out, which is what happened. But I think I see your point, though, which is if you guys had been able to maintain a foothold in the south, that could have been prevented, even as you repositioned, the reserves from the north and got them into the fight.
I mean, we don't know how fast they're gonna react to something. So even if we kept one player up north and had started Argos moving down south a lot sooner, he held down in the area of the map, but we maybe only needed 1 unit there for vision when you look at the grand scheme of how this game played out, which is you have lots of aggression in that southwest corner. There's some pus dropping here and there, and then we pull the trigger too early, giving us a huge disadvantage. And that kind of takes us out of check, and they just have a huge superior warrior advantage down in the south, where it's all the warriors up north. They're not making much happen, besides the staring contest. Good old fashioned Myth staring contest, right?
Here's the thing: is I mean, this is going to be a situation where having Thrall is not so great, because the Thrall are so slow that repositioning them comes at a great cost, relative to other units you could have had instead. Um, so having all those thrall and you can't really move much faster than than the thrall because you can't leave them undefended. It just makes it a little bit more difficult to play the repositioning game, especially on a large map like this. This is a pretty big map, I think.
Well, that's why you kind of want to like your thrall are kind of like your anvil, while your war packs running around being your hammers, man.
Yeah,
And I mean, like I said,
that's true.
I mean, we just get flagged out, and like Crypto's head doesn't have any kills or damage or losses yet, man.
The other disadvantage of
Um,
having thrall is after. I mean, when you're in a position where they're being overrun, then the other team's just vetting off your thrall, and you can't really, unless you have artillery blowing them up. It's kind of hard to go toe to toe in a melee engagement after that fact. So that's another thing to think about. It's another thing that could happen when you do a a strat where thrall figure into it.
I mean, I suppose so. And when you think about it, like Eastwind, he had the Herons. He ends the game 22 kills, 1 loss, 46 damage. I mean, that's pretty damn
That's
impressive
that's
all time for a Myth World Cup final
that's
performance.
really really
But,
freaking
like,
good. That's
go find
really
a couple
good.
of his Herons real quick with your camera and just check out if any of them are alive still. See how many kills they have, man. Because
Did he lose?
like
I
you
think
said, the vetting process, man. Once they get
Yep.
3 or 4, those Heron healers are unstoppable.
they're almost like heroes at that point. But did he lose
Exactly.
a healer? Was that his loss?
Oh yeah, well that was like the first kill of the game.
Yeah.
Was
And he
I
bounced
blew up
back. Like
this
I guess
guy,
that
and
that
after that, he was like, all right, I'm not gonna give him anything.
that must have
And
kindled
then,
a fire in him because he just went all out. I mean, 46 damage, 22 kills, that's like unprecedented in a Myth World Cup Finals, isn't it?
I mean, it's pretty damn good.
It's pretty good, it's particularly on a light map where there's no like tro or anything or fetch or anything like that.
Well, yeah, man. I mean, Eastwind's definitely the type of player you have to respect, and if you're not gonna respect him and you're gonna try a bunch of funky ass shit and it goes wrong, expect him to make you pay for your mistakes, man. If he's not, then he's not Eastwind. He's not that type of player in the Myth community
You
that
know,
he is.
interestingly, Adrenaline had like almost the opposite, 3 kills, 14 losses, but he still managed to net 30 damage, which is maybe 2/3 of what Eastwind got. It's pretty good in terms of damage, but all those thrall being eaten
I
up.
mean, you're hating on the Thrall, man, but when you look at it, Adren and Argos, they both had the Thrall on the team, right? And then the
They
rest
had the
of
most
us
damage.
had War Packs,
Yeah.
and Rat King had something special.
I'm not hating on the thrall. I'm just saying there's an inherent risk. There's risk to doing that.
At the same time, they were able to they were meant to be
Hmm?
the Ambles there. I mean, if Argos had repositioned to back up Adrenaline a little bit sooner,
Was that going on in the chat? Was Rat King able to get you guys to? Was he able to mobilize you guys a little bit like that, or? I mean,
yeah, but I mean, by the it what basically happened was the only person who was communicating was in the south, and you had no one from the north was communicating over the microphone, I think.
hmm.
So they're kind of watching what's happening down there. They're keeping the players up north in check, and Rat King's focused on the south. Um,
How did Akira get negative damage? Do we know that?
I think he had a war pack. I could be wrong.
How do you get negative damage with a war pack?
Well, have you ever seen Akira use war packs?
No.
I love the
No.
guy, man. I tell him every time, man. If I'm playing with him, I can't captain, and he's not allowed to use war packs. That's just the way it goes.
I just don't understand. That must have been friendly fire from a dwarf or something like. That's the only thing I can
Um,
think of.
sure, man. Even if they had a dwarf farm, I mean, where was Akira on the map? There's
Uh,
5 losses, only one survivor. I don't know where the survivor is.
yeah, we could spend all day looking for it.
You know what, man? I think he had the gold bombs. Now that I'm looking at the pieces of goals down in the southwest, they look like it's his shade of blue, not mine.
Oh, so that wasn't you,
I thought it was.
but so was it or was it not? Now I'm not. Now I don't
No,
know.
not now that I'm thinking about it, man. Akira was a
He.
dedicated
Oh
bottle
yeah, he
buster.
does have one goal survivor. I see it now. In the north. So
I
yeah,
mean, dude, they just
it's,
mowed us down here, bro. Like, we didn't adjust to their push, and
that
that's
was
pretty
rough,
much the
man.
end of the story.
Throwing those projectiles uphill, they just rolled right back down, blew them up. That was unfortunate.
I wonder if it was because he's using detailed textures or not. Because,
You
like, when
think
you have
so?
detailed textures on, you can't see the terrain as well as when you have them off. That's for sure.
Is that really? I didn't know
Oh,
that.
yeah, man.
You can still see it. I don't know. I'd have to do a
You can
comparison.
manipulate the terrain more, way more, I think,
I think
with the detailed stuff off.
that's true in a lot of games. A lot of like pro players will play with, the very basic settings, because it simplifies the game where they
And
can
Siri plays in software mode, for example.
really. I didn't know that. Interesting. Well, yeah. Sometimes you don't want all those bells and whistles distracting you. All right. Well, yeah, let's wrap it up. Game three, TWF's going to come out ahead 2 games to 1. Moving into game four, is Syndicate going to be able to bounce back? I guess we'll find out. Game four coming up.
Game over.
You gotta pee?
What? Oh,
You gotta take a leak.
shit. All right, everybody, we're back as NewMutator, joined by Paris, bringing you Game 4 of the Myth World Cup 2016 final match between TWF here in the northeast and the Syndicate in the southwest. Going to Town is the name of the map. The game type is King of the Map. Whose pick was this? Was this Rat Kings or Limps?
I think this was Wreckings.
Rat Kings
This is the
pick.
4th game. Yeah, we had all the even picks. They had the odd picks.
All right. They had the odd picks, so everybody so far has been winning their picks. Is that what you were saying earlier, or were you saying the opposite?
Maybe you're right about that. I guess everyone is winning their picks so far. But maybe it was like the maps that we had actually selected as teams were opposite.
All right. Well,
You bring up a good point there. I forget what I had remembered before.
oh, who is it? Dun, dun, dun. Cruniac
Like,
saying,
I'm pretty sure they had requested to put this in the map pool, as well as Poison Holiday Dark. And we had picked those 2 maps where we played like utter shit.
aha. Interesting. Sometimes it goes like that.
Well, yeah, man.
So I think Criniac was saying this might have been originally a World War II map. If not, then it was
I don't
adapted
know.
for it at some point. So makes sense, I guess.
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure this is like the original myth map. Going to Town.
You mean the Fallen Lords, or is this from a level?
I thought it was from like an advertisement. It was from like a screenshot when they were advertising Myth, but
Really?
they never actually released the map. It was called Going to Town.
Huh.
Like, unless I'm thinking of Gothic, but I'm pretty sure I'm talking about this map.
Well, while we
Some
can,
myth lore for you.
I
But
suggest
let's jump through these guys.
yeah, let's look at the trades real quick because we only have a few seconds to do that. Heavy. Looks like some guests here for TWF. But what can they do? They can freeze the Warlocks if they ever get close enough, or the Dwarven Mortars. More likely they're going to be freezing some Mercuridia or some of these Berserks, but they freeze on impact when they attack. So it's a possibility they're just really slow and really weak. Maybe underwater? Are they going to be sunk underwater? Because they are undead.
They could be.
They can be
and
hidden
there
in
are
the deep.
places to sink it.
Yeah, so it's a possibility.
Kraken ghasts.
Kraken gas. What's that?
Gas that linger in the deep. But looking at the trades, TWF, they got a couple more Warlocks than Syndicate. They got quite a bit more artillery overall, but Syndicate has more Solus.
Right. But the other thing is TWF has the Gats.
Sin missed the tag in the south.
Whoa!
Uh,
Uh-oh. Lizard King has to double back for that.
This shit.
Flag captured.
It can't be that bad.
Flag
Oh,
captured.
no, it's not.
Remember, it's king of the map, so
Flag captured.
every tag is important. Every second on every flag you get is super important.
Well, I mean, if the game comes down to be close, for sure.
If the game can, but you know, there's usually a point in every game where it's close.
Yeah, except for that last calm game I just watched. Because, good lord.
Well,
We got Eastwind moving in on Lizard King over here. Eastwind's got all 3 Tro
Yep.
for the Way
That's
Foundation.
right, and that's not how you guys are playing it. Looks like Paris
Nah.
taking some early damage. Oh, you got a Mercuridia out of it, though. It's totally worth.
I didn't even get the kill, though. I mean, it wasn't worth the ratios.
Ah. Oh,
Kinda
come on.
disappointed.
It's worth it in the grand scheme of things because, you know, Mercuridia are pretty good.
Ah, but dude, when I look it up on the website,
All right.
it doesn't reflect anything.
Well, you know, not everything's reflected in the stats,
Flag
Paris.
captured.
The stats is everything.
Flag captured.
So now the Tro are
Flag.
they're all in one place basically. They're concentrated in this
Flag
area.
captured.
Yeah, and then we got the artillery
Consolidated.
standoff in the middle area. Genghis surrounded pretty
Yeah.
quickly. He's like, where the hell is my team?
Yeah, he's all by himself. I don't know. There's some team. They're there, sort of. And
So I'm like leaking mercs towards these artillery pieces in the east, trying to sneak some stuff.
Oh, I see.
While,
Ah,
Kill keeps pressure on Eastwood.
nice. Oh no, that one goes berserk and totally turns. Oh, it sets you back just a little bit.
Flag.
Yo, and the gas come into play, bro.
Where?
Contested.
Oh, here they are. Oh, massive. Wow, Limp. Huge
The ultimate
plays.
defense.
Huge
Flag
plays.
captured.
Oh,
Dude.
wow.
He's got the money maker.
Oh, wow.
Flag.
That mark goes down.
He
Holy shit.
He countered your little move there. That's amazing. Those gas, man. Was that a surprise when you saw those?
When they came out, I guess so, because we only got one, and I don't even think I noticed that at the time.
You could have got a mortar out of that, actually, if you ran your Mercuridia into the fireball.
Yeah, man. I mean, it might have thrown me off so badly where I was like, what the fuck am I supposed to do? And it just blanked out.
Yeah, it's tough, man. You have to, you know, Myth is a game where you have to weigh those decisions, like, you know, is sacrificing a unit to take out some other stuff or trying to survive, like,
Contested.
I mean, kill artillery, tag some flags in the way. It's not a bad idea. Basically, got the
Flag captured.
actually in the north, you guys are going to lose that flag, it looks like, as Limp was hiding some
Flag
berserks.
captured.
Cruniac is sending
Yeah,
out some
Cruniac's
stuff
out
too.
there.
Contested. Flag captured. Flag captured.
And in the south, those
Flag
ghasts.
contested.
What? You guys had a ghast this whole time. Rat King with the defensive ghast. Oh, but he loses it. Good thing Kryptos is there to clean it up.
Yeah, man, that gas play. But right now, Sin has a large control of flags on the map. So we're racking up the time right now. We have a 10-minute
Oh, yeah.
advantage. While percents are still pretty much the same. There's only 7 minutes left.
Yeah, things are looking good for the Syndicate so far. Even though
And
it's
we
tied
got
up.
some body pieces going down
Body pieces.
over in the mid. Adren took out a Warlock.
Oh no! Huge shot there
You see
from
that?
Cruniac. Yeah, Cruniac with a massive shot. Took out, was that demo stuff? That was big. Right over the barn. Where's, whoop. Oh, another
Is
one
that
going
range
down.
real? What is the range on this map anyway?
I don't know. Oh, that fireball goes through, but unable to connect. That's weird. Funk almost returned fire there.
Yeah, Demo loses a solo in the process. And down in the south, the Tros are still staring at each other.
Flag
Yeah,
captured.
that happens
Flag
in a lot of these tro maps. Is neither one wants to give the other team an advantage by moving in prematurely. Ouch, Gekko losing his Warlock. I don't think he intended for that to happen. I think he mismicroed there. Bit of a mistake.
Flag
Trevelyan gets a
captured.
free shot on that Mercuria, but not going to get him in Berserk
Flag
range.
captured.
So far, it's keeping that,
Flag
expanding the
contested.
lead to about 12 minutes. And wait, how much time is remaining? About 5 minutes remaining. So it's like it's almost tied at about 87% or
Flag
so.
captured. Flag contested.
Syndicate though with the advantage in time.
5 minutes remaining.
Limp's gonna try to take this
Flag
west
captured.
flag, but it's gonna end up backing out. He doesn't even contest it though. That's kind of unusual. What do you think? 2 Mercuria versus 3 Berserks. Who comes out on top?
Flag captured.
I mean, it depends how you micro it. Probably the Zerks, but
Flag contested.
Oh, he's got
Um,
reinforcements,
flag
but he's
captured.
already running away. I don't know.
if you're able to pull the red Zerk away without it getting flinched up,
Flag captured.
you might be able to get some extra hits in, then move that red Zerk back in with the extra attack speed, and you could maybe squeeze
Flag
that out.
contested.
But I mean, Mercs are just OP, man.
Yeah, they're pretty good.
They're
Pretty
definitely
freaking
the
good.
melee dominator. I
Even
like to
Tro.
think.
They even ripped
Flag
through
captured.
Tro.
Oh yeah, man, they're
Flag
perfect for Tro. Perfect for
There you go.
anything, really.
Paris exacting revenge,
Flag captured.
killing one
Yeah,
of
those-
those ghasts.
Flag captured.
Uh-oh, here in the south, the Tro have made it
Captured.
back to the flag. Is there going to be an epic standoff? Oh, it looks like Eastwind does not want any part of that. He's going to try to take it back to Trevelyan. Actually, Lizard King sort of moving into that. Gets
Contested.
blasted there.
Flag captured. Flag contested.
And Paris and Gekko, once again, going to be duking it
Flag
out
contested.
here
Flag
in the east. Gekko, though, looks like has a slight edge with the Mortar Dwarf. It's going to end up
Flag
repelling Paris.
contested.
And the White Foundation, they got
Holy moly.
6 flags right now.
Look at Cruniac, man. Holy crap, dude.
Killed
His
Wind of
superior
Fire,
World
Wind
War
of
II skills. World War II, one of the premier mods
Flag
in
captured.
Myth's heyday. He's,
He had extra practice.
yeah, he's showing how to make it happen here with the Mortar Dwarf.
Flag
He's got so many kills. He's got like 10 kills.
Flag captured.
And actually, Lizard King's
Flag
going to be taking out
captured.
these Soulless. There was a huge engagement, and looks like
Flag
Eastwind
contested.
came out a little worse
Flag
for wear there.
captured.
Lizard King
Flag captured.
is going to consolidate those Tro, maybe look to take this fight. We'll see. It's a 51-56%. Slight edge there for TWF, but I gotta say, Syndicate's looking not too shabby right now. They're looking okay. Big
Still
Solus
up like
presence.
9 minutes in time.
Captured.
That early game map control.
Yeah, they gave you a
We
big
wanted-
buffer.
Yeah, we wanted to support that late game. So
Actually, another Tro being sent to the south. What happened
Flag
to Gekko?
captured.
Where's he at? Oh, he's
Flag
there. He's all by
captured.
himself, though. And
Flag
Lizard King,
contested.
ooh, getting some shots off.
Flag captured.
Eastwind's really close to being
Flag
turned to
contested.
stone.
he's got some support though. It's a little dangerous now, but
Flag contested.
Yeah, but
Flag
Paris is on the way, so I mean,
Flag.
that should be
Gekko's
enough.
trailing me.
He's
A
too,
little bit
he's,
farther
he's
behind.
really far away though.
Flag captured.
He's really far away.
Cruniac.
Flag.
Cruniac's still going.
Flag.
He's looking for a strike.
Where's he at?
Flag.
Racks up
captured.
2 more kills over in the west.
Oh, there he is.
Funk
He's got 11
almost drops
kills.
a shot on him.
Oh, here we go.
Captured.
Yeah, Funk with the
1 minute
fireball doesn't connect.
Flag captured.
Lucky for Cruniac there. He's gonna do a little time. Loses that berserk.
Flag
Whoa. Yeah, that one's not gonna trail him though. So control click there. Cruniac return fire.
Flag.
Just does a little bit of damage.
Flag.
Ooh, he's so
contested.
close to losing that mortar dwarf. He's got to be careful. And yeah, those Tro, Eastwind's gonna be trailed out there.
30 seconds.
30 seconds remaining, and it's looking like Syndicate have it in the
Flag
bag. They've been able to
captured.
hold on
Flag.
for the win. There's only a
captured.
4-minute spread, but that early
Flag
lead they racked up
contested.
is helping them out, paying
Flag
dividends right now.
captured.
And Cruniac finally losing that dwarf. Funk is going to be able to hold.
Contested.
I think he should be able to. A lot of friendly fire though.
Flag captured.
And
Flag
Lizard King's
contested.
gonna basically come out on top there. I guess he made quick work of Eastwind while that was happening, coordinating with Paris. And yeah, I mean 38% to 12%. Because Syndicate had racked up such a huge lead, TWF tried to take it back and incurred too many losses to be able to make a dent in that time. So it's going to be tied up yet again, TWF with the win here. Or I'm sorry, Syndicate with the win in Game 4. TWF 2 games to Syndicate's 2, coming into Game 5. Looks like Lizard King pretty much single-handedly won this game for the Syndicate. This Tro.
He did put
114
in a lot
damage.
of work, man, and he stayed alive until the end of the game, man. He wasn't really fighting until that last 2 minutes, 2 minutes 30 seconds. I thought he put in a lot of work here. That really paid off for our team. And splitting up the Tro really worked well. You know, they kept their 3 Tro together, but it allowed me to move around the map while he kept, you know, Eastwind's Tro at bay. You know, eventually they detached the Tro for Gekko to go and shadow me with. But that's, I feel like when we got that early map control and the early flag time advantage, it was a result of having those split Tros from the get-go and me being able to just run off and go and start tagging their backfield and causing mayhem, where they have to adjust to that while they're still, you know, trying to form up over in the village.
Now, honorable mention has to be made here for Cruniac, and actually Gekko had pretty good ratios this game. 57 and 56 damage respectively for them. 15 kills from Cruniac is going to be approaching the top person with the top number of kills, Lizard King, who had 17.
Yeah, man, he put in work.
The other
He
interesting
approached
thing...
from the north. Man, did you, like, you know how he was shooting that over the houses? I had no idea that that was possible. I thought they'd get blocked out or something.
You learn something new every day.
Yeah, man, I want to play this map more.
Something interesting to note is each team had the same number of kills, 50 kills apiece. believe it or not. And
Get a couple more losses. Those are just the gas, though, you know?
yeah, yeah,
Some
but
friendly fire, I guess.
I don't know, man. They just had, uh, I think they just had fewer units because at the end of the game it's 38% to 12%, even though both teams had a comparable number of kills and losses. You know,
Mm.
could just have
Yeah.
had more units, uh, unit trading points sunk into different units. I don't know. That's one for the statisticians, the mathematicians, and the. But yeah,
I mean, overall, it's a really close game, you know? I think that's what it comes down to.
it's pretty close. But I think
Percentages can lie, you know?
that racking up the time advantage early on really secured the win there for the Syndicate. Because it forced TWF to play aggressively when doing so they were at a disadvantage in doing so. So it ended up working out really well for Syndicate this game. Anything else you want to add before we move on to Game 5?
No, I'm all good.
Right on. All right. Well, thanks for watching. Hope you're enjoying the cast so far, and stick around and join us for Game 5 coming up.
Flag captured. Game over.
Hey. Is this...
All right, we're back. Thanks for watching, everybody. It's NewMutator. I'm joined once again by Paris, and actually I have a couple more guests with me. It's Cruniac, and first we have Limp joining us in the cast, both of whom played for TWF. We're in Game 5 of the Myth World Cup 2016 finals match between TWF and the Syndicate. So, say hello, guys. How's it going?
Hello, how's it going?
How's everybody doing?
Right, so that was
Hi.
Cruniac, and then Limp, and then Paris, so hopefully, yeah. Alright, so let's introduce the players really quick. For Rat King, we have joining him Lizard King, Paris, Rar, Akira, Argos, Adrenaline, and Kryptos, and joining Limp on TWF, we have Gekko, HMP, Noble Steed, Trevelyan, Garrick, Eastwind, and Cruniac. So yeah, Game 5, it's tied up so far, 2 games apiece, and here we are.
This was a very important game for that reason, because it was tied up. And, I almost had one of the biggest blunders possible, but I did not.
Almost, huh?
Very close.
Alright, we'll see what happens.
Wait, this was game 5? I'm confused. I'm not even in
Don't
this game.
spoil it.
Yeah, we're on Game 5. Is this, what's the name of this map again? Is this Kadarn?
Kadarn.
Kadarn, Capture the Flag is the game type. So, of course, both teams want to take the opposing team's flag, and doing so will secure them the victory here. Alternatively, you could eliminate the other team. That's another win condition that's possible. Anybody want to comment on the trades? Unit trades?
All trades are horrible.
Okay.
No,
Right on.
I'd like to hear what Limp was thinking,
Yeah.
what was going through his head as a captain, what he was trying to get his guys to do.
He is the only one here who actually did trade, so yeah, I'd be interested to know that too. What was sort of guiding your thinking here, Limp, for your strat, your trade?
Well, basically, our team was composed of just pretty much random people that I've known over the course of the past, 16 years or whatever it is. So I'm not really sure I knew if we had any strengths or weaknesses or what they were. So I kind of traded for the most part on almost every map, really basic cookie cutter trades and splits, if you will. Just kind of hoping that we could out BC them, and kind of hoping that Rat King would potentially try and over-strategize, if you will. Try to do something exotic to kind of like take us, out of the game. But I really just want us to face up with them and, fight them toe-to-toe.
So kind of just relying on the individual skill of the players?
Basically, up to this point, they hadn't really tried anything other than just kind of matching up with us, and we were doing the same. And it kind of seemed like we have had one of the best players on Myth on our side, and Eastwind and Cruniac is up there right now as well too. So I kind of just leaned on them a little bit. And with Genghis, I mean, he's been one of the better players for the past several years, even though he's been pretty inactive as of late. But I just kind of relied on them a little bit and gave the other players kind of like the role players more simple roles, if you will. Put them all middle with archers and just let it unfold.
All right, and
Hell yeah.
what's going on from your perspective, Paris? Because I know you guys had just won the previous game coming into this game here. What's sort of going through your head?
So we're kind of thinking, like, all the games tied up, so it's kind of like a whole new series, so...
Oh, it's like, I hate to interrupt you guys because you probably wasted like 2 minutes, but this is the wrong game because the match is already decided now. Because I had left once it was over, and they're even talking about it in chat. So if this is only game 5, it's just going to confuse the hell out of people.
What?
I think you're on the wrong map, or the wrong film.
We're on Kair Kadarn.
Okay,
After the
never mind. For some reason, they fucking labeled it wrong.
Jeez Louise, man. And Rat King is dancing around the mid. I guess he's trying to secure it for the Syndicate, but he's losing. He's taking a lot of damage on those goals, which I guess is not the worst thing that could happen, but it's not the best either. He loses a few of them. He manages to throw down a pus, but he's unable to secure the kill on that dwarf, even with archers.
What time are you guys at? I'll just speed up to it.
We're up at 1350.
Yep, that's correct. So, oh, there he goes. Throws down that pus, but doesn't... I don't know if he hit anything critical there.
TWF pusses themselves a shit ton here. It just happens.
Yeah, he had his goals purposely trying to get your guys' goals to auto. Did you guys have more archers mid at first? I mean, it looks more evened up now.
It's 82-78%, so there's a 4 percentage point spread.
Because we get all that extra thrall again, and like we constantly have that extra thrall. You guys get the flanks moving in.
Yeah, for the most part, I noticed that a lot of maps that we kind of had more artillery than you guys, and you guys would trade for a lot of the extra like supplementary melee, and I think that was kind of to your detriment on a lot of the maps.
Yeah, I could definitely see how that played a role, man. Especially because, like, we didn't really catch on that every map you guys would go for what you were calling, the basic cookie cutter strats, where like you could just run these in a public game of Myth 2 and like see where it goes,
Exactly. I think he was expecting me to do more rushy stuff because that's kind of what like NC would do, and I normally do with like a lot of teams, but we don't. If you look at the roster, it's like no one's good at rushing on our team. Like Eastwind is good at like defending a rush, and so am I. But like Genghis is not good with the warrior pack. I know Cruniac doesn't like them, so it's like we didn't have the personnel to really do any of that stuff. So it was like we have some pretty decent artillery players, so let's just go with a lot of artillery on pretty much every map.
So we have a potential clash in the south, and another one sort of in the north that's happening simultaneously.
I would say that the entire match kind of turns right here with what's happening south. Genghis makes a really smart decision, even though he doesn't really enact it quite well. But he forces something to happen, and this is where this whole game turns.
Oh, I'm watching him now. He was on the run, but
I'm watching the same game as you guys now.
Are you? We're at 11:30 right now, so
that's the same part now.
So we had to have traded for less warriors because I remember thinking here, like Kilg is getting split up, and he basically has to cover both of these warrior packs, and it's impossible. So he either has to abandon mid or abandon the home flag, and obviously abandoning the home flag is not going to be an option.
It's smart for Gekko just to run towards the flag.
That's what he's doing. So now Argos is running back. Now there's just a bunch of thrall on that flag with that dwarf, but that dwarf... Oh, Argos pops those satchels early. And I don't know, it's looking kind of interesting here with Gekko threatening this flag.
Now the noble steed makes his move.
Uh-oh, where's he going? He's going mid. Oh, wow. The mid is going to get sandwiched. Paris notices something's up, but he's all by himself. Trailing behind Genghis is Lizard King. Kind of an interesting movement there.
That was the one kind of dumb thing that like a few of our people on mid, they friggin' threw flame arrows in mid. So once we got up there, we couldn't like cross right away.
It did get us right off that hill, though. Gave you guys that extra elevation. We were on our heels there. It's like you guys had this huge archer advantage mid, and you guys will notice there's no melee for you guys mid at all.
Yeah, there's nothing.
Exactly, because we knew that you guys weren't going to rush. You weren't trying to on anything, so it was like, you know, who needs some drow backup? It's just going to go to waste to get more archers.
The recurring theme on these light maps, man.
What's the recurring theme?
Realizing that we're going to play passive-aggressive, not really rush. And
Ooh, huge puss
that
from
gets
Limp.
used to our disadvantage.
That was a big puss, actually, opening the way for the melee, but they're going to disengage.
This is where the game kind of changes a little bit. We kind of pinch this entire mid force, and Eastwind is basically just distracting Rar up north when he really needed to be middle to stop this all from happening.
I agree. Oh, man.
It's 59.68%, so TWF with the clear advantage right now in terms of numbers.
And absolutely surrounding, you know, that entire force. You know, the flag defense can't assist that group at all. Roar is like far up north, just getting distracted. Really opens up the window for Gekko, Genghis, Limp, put in work.
I feel like you guys traded for really light warriors, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, we definitely did.
Never a good plan on Kair.
Well, the melee
Definitely
engagement
hurt
is
us, dear.
happening. HMP's moving in with the dwarf.
And up north, Eastwind's fighting Roar. A lot of pussing going down.
Interesting,
And
yeah.
Roar just...
Gets pussed.
Yeah, Rar just shitting the bed up here.
27.48%, so that lead grows to about 20%. And an unfortunate dud there from Limp. Or from Rat King, actually, but Limp finally gets taken out. But the archer advantage is going to make those dwarves not very useful right now.
And 7 minutes, 30 seconds to go.
Ooh, yeah, that engagement happening really early doesn't really help their chance in forcing a tie. And Rar basically getting cleaned up. Eastwind coming out on top in the north. And south is not looking so great. It's the archer advantage ensures that over, 7 minutes, a lot of damage is going to happen.
Now, I want to direct your attention to the single warrior that Rar has left in the north by our flag. I'm pretty much focused on just cleaning up the rest of their flag when I maybe should have...
Uh-oh.
Perhaps be doing the captain.
Oh, man. I actually did that in a tournament game way back in MWC 1999. I had the flag defense and I lagged out. I think what happened was I lagged out and my thrall walked off the flag.
Best part is me and Genghis are trying to yell to Limp. He's just so oblivious and just so pleased with himself.
Ooh.
He just keeps killing for the...
Cryptos
I
almost
just
had a
remember
clutch bust.
being...
Oh
I'm
my
like
God.
standing up at this point right now, dude, and I'm yelling at Roar over the microphone, and I'm just like, you fucking... I was just bucking out like, you got this, dude, just go. But then,
I feel like there's at one
notice
point he
starts
could have
moving
had it.
he moves it. He starts moving it to the left, and instead of pulling them like directly off quickly, he's kind of keeping them on the flag right there. So he's unable to, really achieve the distance.
I don't think you were that close to losing it, Limp. I have to say.
I don't know. I was not. They specifically started rushing me by their flag, so I would get some free kills, and I was just like, cool, free kills. I guess they're giving up. And I didn't realize that RAR had a single warrior on the flag, so they were pretty close, man. Luckily, my entire team yelled at me.
Yep, I saw that in the chat.
That was like my favorite moment of the whole tournament, though.
That could have been the biggest like match swing too, right there.
Exactly.
That would have been enormous. And I had a good game, so I was pretty happy with myself.
Well, TWF actually takes the win with 36% remaining. And actually, it looks like nearly everybody on their team played really well. Looks like 18 kills for Limp, 27 damage from Cruniac, 11 and 3. Pretty good ratios from HMP. Not too shabby. Wrecking again with the incurring negative damage, but that's not too unusual as a captain. Healing the the whites.
You look at the team kills and losses. We had 81 losses. We're only able to take 37 units off the map.
Yeah, it's pretty rough game for the Syndicate. They just got smashed in the south and in the north.
Everywhere, bro.
Yeah.
All at once. Yeah, this was definitely a crushing, demoralizing blow.
Eastwind did really good north too, because that was the only place you guys had like an advantage number-wise, and he was still able to come out on top.
Yep.
Oh yeah, man.
Yeah, he bested RAR.
You can
gotta use that scatter key.
You can trust that guy. That's like he's one of the most reliable players who's probably ever played the game. So I didn't even talk
by
to him.
far, Eastwind is like the #1 person I just effing hate being against, like especially in Warrior Pack fight, because he will literally just run for like 9 minutes until the point where you're just like, fuck it, I just don't care anymore. You just click on him.
Exactly.
And he knows that exactly. It drives me crazy too, and I just, after a while, I'm just like, fuck it.
I can relate to that because, I mean, from his perspective, because I try and do the same thing, honestly, a lot of the time, but I don't have the same patience as him.
Yeah, well, he'll
be patient for honestly like minutes.
He's getting a PhD. That's like the epitome of patience right there. But
first second he gets that opening, he'll take it.
Well, any other closing thoughts? Anyone wants to leave for Game 5 before we move on?
I liked Cruniac's title for me, the fucking King Chimp. That was fantastic.
Freaking almost lost that game for me.
For sure. I mean, I did.
The best part is, he was just sitting there with some shit-eating grin on his face, thinking, "Yeah, I'm getting these Thrall as our freaking flag shifted up and he lost."
I was actually eating some yogurt, and I was like, "Cool, we're not going to lose this now." And then everyone screamed at me, and I was like, "Oh fuck."
That probably would have been one of the biggest blunders in finals.
I guess you guys are lucky you were doing the VoIP thing, because you possibly would have overlooked it.
Oh no, none of us. I don't believe anybody.
It wasn't a VoIP? Okay, so it was just reading the chat. All right.
Yeah, just Gang is basically spamming the entire chat window.
It was not just Genghis, it was pretty much everyone on our team.
Yeah, it was a lot of people.
I figured that Eastwind would have like shadowed it or something. I really didn't pay attention, or he had killed it all. But you know, that would have been something that RAR could have lorded over me for an eternal amount of time, and that would have been pretty funny.
I mean, that would have been 2 weeks in a row too, where Sin pulls off these CTF wins where they're getting their opponents to walk off the flag.
Oh yeah, I was in that match as well.
Almost pulled an LSO, I see.
Yeah, I think I said that exact thing.
All right, so yes, with this game, TWF expands their lead. They're winning 3 games to 2 here in the finals, and now the win condition for Syndicate is, well, it's getting a little bit more tense. The window is closing, and they have to pull out some wins here.
It's Gekko.
It's win or go home. That's
go
correct.
big, go home.
We'll see if they're able to do it in Game 6. Stick around, and we'll have that for you shortly.
Team eliminated. Game over.
Fun
Oh,
part,
there
Rat
it
King.
is.
You waited
There it
very.
is. It's NewMutator, and I'm joined once again by Paris, Cruniac, and Limp, and we actually have another person joining us in the form of Gekko. What's up, man?
Hello.
Hello, I'm good. I'm good.
Cool, man. It's good to see you. I think that's the first time I've had you in a cast as well. So we're looking at a
This is
game
my first
6.
time casting.
Yeah, welcome. So we're looking at game 6 of the Myth World Cup 2016 finals. This is the match between the Syndicate and TWF. So, yeah. All right. So TWF is actually up 3-2. And I think, as somebody said at the end of the last game, it's basically win or go home at this point for Rat King and the Syndicate.
I did say that indeed.
And
Yes, sir. Go
that's the
big, go
situation.
home.
That's the situation, actually. So it's pretty apt. Capture the flag is the game type. So another capture the flag, back to back capture the flag.
Yep.
Kind of interesting.
Yeah. Looking at it now, just looking at the trades, I think that the Rat King's decision to not get any mortars with the Giant Hills middle and then a bunch of basically wasted points in Stygian Knights is curious.
That's a good point. I guess he's overly reliant on the fetch for most of that burst damage.
Well, also on it's overly reliant on the hills and the impassable terrain because that's really where your souls are going to be sticking to, and that's
If you
there's
notice
an
too,
overabundance of that.
both these chimps got journeymen when the Heron Guards have like 9 heals apiece.
Yeah, I didn't think about that. I didn't look at this map, honestly. We started playing, and I was like, if you watch the chat that happened, I was like, hey, Eastwind, heavy artillery, right? And he was like, yep. And I was like, okay, time to trade.
And so
That was me trying to get Rar to talk, and Rar would not talk.
So
No, he's got to be stone-faced around you, dude. I'm telling him.
I want to get him to chat a little bit.
Oh, dude, me and Rar are like, or rather, me and Cruniac are like Rar's. Like, we can just set that guy off. It's beautiful.
Which I love playing with him. I think it's fun. It makes the game more interesting.
Oh, me too. I feel the exact same. I don't dislike the guy by any account. I don't dislike
Love
any.
Rar.
I
The only
mean,
person I don't like on Myth is fucking Renwood.
oh yeah, Redwood is
Frickin'
definitely not my favorite person.
you know, Renwood's
Oh,
probably
come
watching
on.
this.
You're not
But
peachy with him.
yo,
I'm
but
glad.
anyway, I think Limp, you said earlier that your strategy coming into this was to maybe get Rat King to overthink things a little bit, and so
Absolutely.
you're doing kind of a just a routine cookie cutter.
Absolutely.
In other words, like a pub strat, and you're sort of banking on the fact that he's maybe put in a lot of thought into how they're going to play this out.
Yeah, I just basically wanted to give everyone on my team a bunch of artillery and go from there instead of giving them some exotic roles. 'Cause, I mean,
Yeah.
look how much shit is on this map. You can't rush. There's nothing that you can rush with. Mercridi aren't great for rushing when there's so
Right.
few of them.
That's
They-
actually
Limp just realized he didn't need the journeyman after I healed all the weights.
that's sort of like my approach to captaining is like give everybody a lot of autonomy. I'm really bad at captaining, by the way, because I sort of do it too much, where I give people too much autonomy, and things just go downhill really fast because I rarely have like a team full of competent players. There's always like people who don't know what to do. But yeah, if you're a team of like veterans, I don't see any harm in just saying, all right, here you go, here's some tools, and do what you do best with what
Pretty
you
much.
got. And
Well,
trusting
that's
them.
pretty much the same with the new buy team as well, because nobody's going to listen to you anyway, whatever you say.
Yeah, and
So I go with the same thing.
I find if you give people like particular roles, then they're not sure, like there's like additional pressure put on them, like they're not really sure exactly when to not do that, if
Well,
the,
also,
if
you're
the situation
naturally,
changes.
You're naturally putting expectations on them to do what's in your head, and unless you can articulate that, then they might not know what to do.
I'd like to comment on a couple things. So you can already see Rat King doing some interesting stuff. If you look on both sides of the map, he's trying to flank around a couple of Mercridi on both sides to maybe potentially steal our flag. So he's taking away pretty much half of the Mercridi, I think, on the map to try and get a flag steal.
Yes.
You also have the fetch split 6-2 instead of 4-4, which is kind of strange. But that's sort of what I mean. That's kind of overthinking it. Like, no one's really played this map. You're probably going to do better just doing something average.
Now, are there 9 fetch on the map, or there's only 8?
There's 8. So this is what I was talking
He
about
gets
earlier.
scouted.
If you look,
Kira does.
if you look southeast right now, there's these 6 fetch lined up against Cruniac's 4. So if you look, there's like this entire area far south where realistically 3 fetch should be, and no one's there. If they were there and the 3 fetch were in this opening, then they could be pushing to their heart's content, but they're completely bottlenecked right here, and it made no sense to me when I was watching it.
Yeah, I made the same observation. It's weird having all the fetches there, where the dwarves have a higher advantage with the ground and all that stuff.
Pretty sure it's where Adrenaline loses one.
Yeah, so you're saying that to you
I
it's
don't know
hard
what he was doing here.
it's hard to understand why Rat King would post up on the low ground with the fetch.
And then
Oh, there it is. Yeah, Adrenaline losing one
an
to this
early
fetch early.
first blood.
Yeah, that doesn't bode well for Syndicate.
We're just playing sloppy at this point. That care game is just way too demoralizing. We can't even
I
think
see.
straight.
So from your perspective, Paris, as you were playing this game, you think the morale was pretty low? Were you guys expecting just to lose at this point?
I mean, we had been in situations like that before, but like we're still noticeably doing like some risky stuff. Generally we have risky style players, but now we have like this bad matchup up north. Like Limp and Cruniac commented on, we weren't really pushing that south, and we pretty much threw a fetch away instead of spreading.
Yeah, like right now, I feel like even
a
if
little bit
the
more.
South just pushed really hard, like it just the fact that just Rat King had those 3 other mercs and like Ghoul sitting over there just made it just such an awful place to be. But it's like we couldn't back up any farther because then you guys get the big Soul Hill.
You'll notice Genghis is completely isolating himself to get rushed in the north right now. I don't know. I watched him doing it, and I was going to say, hey, don't do that, but it was just too interesting to see what was going to happen, and somehow it actually resulted in like a complete tie happening. I think the percentages end up the same after the craziness that happens up north shortly.
It's freaking 4 fetch and 3 mercs just going all the way into Africa.
They just
Yeah,
surrounded
it's
up there for a bench.
Well, Funk is sort of sealing the surround here, kind of forcing the issue.
Roar is not reacting at all. I think he should have just gone to kill the fetches with his souls.
You think he should have given up that position?
Yeah, I think he should. There's Akira on the high ground still.
Yeah, I mean, it
Maybe
wouldn't
leave
have
a
hurt.
few Stygians
Possibly.
there. But no, they don't have any dwarves, so that plays quite a big role here.
Interesting. The surround is near complete, and Angus is losing effect. There he goes. He loses one, but he freezes some of his own units, I think, in the process. Nope, that's
I think he was
Angus.
smart. I think he had a merc that he pulled away at the end and killed like 1 or 2 of their fetch coming up. Yeah, right here.
There it is. Oh, there it is. Yeah, he pulls it away. Oh, and they don't shoot. They don't shoot that Mercuridia, and actually, Kryptos loses a fetch in the process. So
Yeah, it worked out a lot better for
Sensor
them.
even.
it worked out better than it could have, but it actually evened things out when I think TWF had the advantage before, and now it's a tie game at 76% for
Now
It
here
could've
comes
just gone a
Gekko
lot
through
worse.
the mid, and this is where I'm like, man, we can't do anything about this. We have no mortars to like suppress that, and I'm pretty sure Gekko's aware of this, so he can just trolley right up wherever he wants.
Yeah, exactly. The trade for Stygian Knights was just they were completely irrelevant on this map. I mean, they're good versus fetch, yeah, but melee is just completely complementary here. There's so much artillery that it really doesn't matter.
I think this is where they finally attack South.
Yeah, I would say that everyone
Actually,
should
it's
watch
just
Soccer.
it's so many different people now. Like Rat King moving units constantly, and the other two moving units.
Yeah, it looks like there's the makings of an engagement here as Lizard King moves in with the Mercurius. Might be able to take out a... Yeah, he takes out one fetch before he ends up being eliminated there. That one Mercuria. And actually that
But
pus
all
is going to
those
be taken
fetches
out.
clump like that.
Oh,
if you
so
watch.
close. Almost got him
If you
with
look
the
at
pus.
Lizard King and Adrenaline.
Oh,
losing
huge shot there
fetch.
from Eastwind, actually taking out a fetch, and a huge pus, actually. And that's actually not good for Lizard King, as those fetch are now sitting ducks. But,
Oh, but he
yep,
deserves
there it
that.
is.
That's-
There it is. Huge shot from Eastwind.
Yeah, you really shouldn't plant your fetches like that.
Yeah, now there's a 20%
No situation.
20% spread in favor of TWF. And rising. All those fetch gone in an instant.
Yep. I mean, 6 fetch should rarely lose to 4, and 6 fetch died with 4 staying alive. It was just it was a really bad engagement for himself.
And they might lose another one. Crypto's hanging on for now. He's able to hold on for the moment. This is in the west. Oh, no, he gets taken out by the hero.
That's the last piece of artillery.
Well,
for
that's
the
not
syndicate.
good. 51 to 19%.
And I'm just like, GG's. I'm like, alright, this is wrapped up.
So with this win, TWF,
TWF is champions.
they're the champions.
Woo!
There's no way. There's 7 minutes remaining. There's literally no way that I can see Rat King holding off the advance. And in fact, he's making the last ditch effort right now to stave off TWF. I don't think he's gonna succeed though.
Freaking Gekko, freaking Thrall just snuck right by.
Yep, there he
Creeping
goes.
for that flag.
Yeah, Calabi running for the win.
Yeah, there's really nothing there.
Flag captured.
There's nothing there to contest, and even if they could, there's nothing to back it up with. So, yeah, Syndicate's going to fall, and a really convincing 46% remaining win here for TWF. HMP with some good numbers, 12 and 4, 33 damage. It's pretty good. Cruniac actually 48 damage. That's going to be the most in the game.
Okay, that was rough for them because if you have Lizard King and Adrenaline, who you could say are probably 2 of their better players, for them to do that bad,
Yeah, but they
it's
got-
going to
they
make
got
it really
shut
hard
down.
to win a game.
Yeah,
I mean, it was already kind of fucked from the beginning. I swear to God. Just by having all those Stygians, not the mortars.
Yeah, even just having
it
2
just-
mortars would have helped you guys a lot.
Well, it just made the game like that much more difficult. We got really lucky that Genghis went and did that crap up north, because really, at that point, we could have, rather than just forcing that push, like right there south, definitely could have waited for Cryptos to make a little bit more noise. I mean, it's just really tough. We have these pivot points with our artillery, but we have far less all over the map. We weren't able to compete with it.
5 minutes remaining.
I think I see the intention of getting the Stygians is to counter the Solus and to basically coop them up on a hill or whatever, make sure that they're not mobile. But yeah,
There's
with
just a few of them.
but the artillery thing with the mortars, I mean, they're hard countered by explosive damage. So
It just provides that many more angles you can really approach your opponents with, you know, and with 8 on 8, you know, it just seems that much more appropriate.
Absolutely. There was just way less to micro. You know, you basically had fetch with 3 people, and then everyone else just had, you know, unit sets where they didn't get to micro very much, so it didn't really utilize the fact that there were 8 people. Whereas I think for us, every single player had some sort of heavy artillery, so kind of put more power into the player's hands, if you will.
So you're saying the the split, the unit trading split, is a crucial piece to the puzzle in terms of how each team performed.
Yeah, I think so. Just because of the fact it's like you just had less people with heavy artillery, so it's like where maybe Gekko or Garrick or Trevelyan has like a really meaningful mortar shot. You might have someone on Rat King's team who just has melee and some Solus, and they don't really have the opportunity to make one play that's really game changing. Not that necessarily happened here or there, but it just kind of gives you the opportunity. And also, there's just so many hills middle where the entire game is happening that you have to trade for mortars on this map. I mean, it's just it was a no-brainer to me.
Unless you're going
did a
to.
smart job too throughout the match to always make sure that maybe you would so call maybe like not bad players, but our weaker players were always around. They were never on like a flank together. All the players were like mixed together.
Yeah, they'd be like supporting a core player.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
pretty much would put kind of the guys who haven't been as active together middle all the time, and I would kind of just sit there with them with some sort of mobile unit set in case I needed to bounce away. But yeah, this was just, I think this map was decided in the unit trading personally because we didn't play exceptionally well. Genghis basically suicided half of our fetch and half of our fast melee like for no reason, and we still came out on top, but with a convincing win. So that to me that dictates that the trade was more important than the actual play.
He definitely, I mean, once he was in that spot, he probably turned it around to as good as it could have been.
Yeah, I mean,
totally.
he didn't do too bad judging from these stats. I mean, 31 damage is pretty respectable for someone who's suicided, so...
No, don't get me wrong. He still made it so after that entire thing happened, it was even percentage-wise, but it really
Yeah,
shouldn't.
whoever like lost that fetch to him at the end, like there's just no reason to lose that one fetch to the one friggin' Merc.
Totally.
I think that was Cryptos, yeah?
Yep.
But,
I don't know.
all
I
right.
thought even though he lost that one fetch, I still thought it gave us like the best I thought it gave us a better opportunity of winning than when it was 100 to 100 than when it was. I mean, when we were at 77, I felt more comfortable then than when we were at 100.
Yeah, you had a flank pressing our flag with a fetch, and we had nothing to respond to it. Luckily, Asmodean quickly went over there to suppress that, but that also meant that East was that much weaker.
Luckily, fetch were all together down south, man. Going in for group hugs.
Whacking each other's wieners.
They just wanted to peel each other's skin off each other and just give a hug.
Fly away to the sky. Yeah, I don't know.
I think they're the South side, Paris or Red King's team, also Paris team, could have had a chance if they did it better.
Yeah, I think if
there was a potential there, but it's just didn't
I felt
happen.
like they had to go sooner because once they finally went, it was just so obvious that they're coming now. It's like, all right, well, this is their last. Instead of making it their last ditch effort, I felt like it was something they should have just been like almost right off the bat.
Totally. It would have been really decisive to be like, we have a fetch advantage here. I personally, if I was going to do that trade, I would have probably put like 18 Solus and 6 fetch on a flank, and then put like 6 mortars on the other side, and then just have one side push and one side hold. But it was kind of like confusing exactly what they were trying to do.
So maybe the strategy was not that well thought out. I mean, we can only speculate, as Rat King isn't here with us to explain the rationale behind the trade, but...
God's power.
I mean, Genghis is usually a smart player, and I noticed when dumb things happen, smarter players don't know what to do as much rather than seeing like the typical, like what you would expect from a good player. So when he wandered up there, man, I don't know, it was just kind of just threw everything off.
I agree with you.
Any closing thoughts before we wrap this up? And I think we'll cast Game 7 just in the interest of being thorough. If you guys
Better luck
want to
next
join
year,
me
Rar.
Alright, and GG's. Congrats, champs. Glad you could hop in here for this, yo.
Yeah,
I
it
will
was.
say the maps that round were pretty enjoyable overall too.
I like the format. I like the way that we did it with being able to set up a map pool and having the captains pick back and forth. Top bracket gets 4 picks over the 3, you know. First pick 2. I mean, that
I think it's
the
smart,
way it
Paris.
worked out was, yeah,
I
I thought
think
it was cool the way it worked
Here's
out.
why I think it's smart, because every year the team captains invariably complain about the map picks by the TO or
Well,
whatever.
everyone's going to
So,
complain about map picks because everyone imagines myth in their own way, you know? So,
but this way, they neither captain has an excuse because they're supplying the map picks. So I
There
think
were-
it's pretty
and it
smart.
was funny because we were like, I think we were like losing on all of our own, like when we picked for the pool, we were losing those maps,
I was
but
just
winning them in the game.
Yeah, I was just gonna say this. It was curious that we were like trading back and forth for the picks that we made. We often lost on the maps that we chose, and I also thought it was really very strange that you guys didn't just exclusively pick Trow maps because that would have been your bread and butter. I don't think we would have won this match had you guys picked all Trow maps, frankly.
Maybe. I mean, I think we wanted to, you know, take what we thought was our weakness and try to be as solid on it as we could. You know, I'd say that we would be weaker on light maps and dark maps, I suppose. Um, but in that sense, you know, that also leads to us, you know, purposely picking the more challenging environment to play in, you know.
Well,
But anyway.
when you're playing from behind, it's not always smart to add some extra challenge into the mix. But I think I see what you're saying, though. Well, I think I'm gonna wrap this up. I hope you guys join me for the next game. It's been a pleasure covering this year's Myth World Cup, and yeah, hopefully we'll see you in Game 7.
Team eliminated. Game over.
GG's. Better luck
GG.
next year.
GG.
Alright, and we're back as NewMutator, joined once again by Paris. We
Yo.
got Limp. We got Cruniac. And we got Gekko. How's it
Hello.
going, everybody? So we're actually covering the final game, Game 7 of the Myth World Cup 2016. This is the final match between TWF and the Syndicate, in which TWF came out on top. They are this year's champions, but we're playing Game 7 anyway. It's already been decided in Game 6, but this is just for fun, I suppose. And Zach is actually the new captain for TWF.
Zach's a pretty maniac.
I actually jumped ship in the last game. I joined Rat King's team just for the
Oh,
just for the
interesting.
fuck of it.
Yeah, look at that. Let me
I'm
introduce the players.
subbing for them. Subbing for them.
Subbing, huh? Yeah, sure. So Rat King is captaining the Syndicate. Gekko from TWF is going to be joining him. Paris Demo, Adrenaline, Argos, Funk, and Cryptos. For TWF, it looks like Zach came out of nowhere to replace Limp as captain. Limp is going to be still in it. Helicopter Monkey, Pilot, Eastwind, Noble Steed, Osmodian, and Garrick. Was Garrick in any of the previous games? I'm not sure if I remember
Yep.
seeing him. Yeah, he was. Okay.
He dropped in a couple of them. I think he was having connection problems.
I see. Alright, so Flag Rally is the game type. It's Harvergolmir, I believe, is the map.
I love how Genghis is still railing into Limp even after we won.
Oh yeah, that was great. I like how he started out by saying, "Limp, your strats sucked. No idea how we won. I fucking sucked."
You made that map. How do you not know what to do?
Dude, I suck at Poison Holiday so much. I think I've won on it like 3 times.
And yet you still pick it.
Yeah, I know. I like it.
Alright, and that's the tournament edition, right? When did that come out? 2007 or something?
It's just like
2006.
it's like an amended version of the same thing. I'm not exactly sure what Toe Cutter changed.
Oh, Toe Cutter. That's a name I haven't seen in a while.
No one has. because
Innovative. That's
I
all I
wonder
gotta
who he
say.
is these days. I think of that when I'm like sitting there in a lobby and there's like 5 names and you're like, that's got to be some dummy. Who is that? Oh, it's
Friggin-
probably Toe Cutter.
That's
Toe
whatever.
Cutters had me, Zach, and Pogue in his comment or his quote for like the past 4 years. All it says is like, it just says like people like these three people come on Myth and just ruin it for everybody else. Little shits.
I think everyone who's a part of the community adds something great, even if they're just a complete fuck up.
Hey, you can learn something from everyone.
Amen to that. All right. So any comments on this game? Coming into
Yeah.
it?
My comment is that I wanted to not have to captain, so I made Zach captain because he was supposed to the whole match. I was just gonna.
Really?
Yeah, I intended for him to captain, and I was just going to give him the trades and planning time so I could focus a little bit more on, like, as they call it, BCing. But he didn't come, so I just
That son of a bitch.
Yeah. So he
Wow.
overslept or something, so I made him captain this game so I could just, like, take units and play. And
So I guess depending on how you look at it, you lucked out possibly with him oversleeping.
I mean, maybe it's not that I like didn't have confidence about captaining. It's normally what I have to do these days. But you know, we had kind of like a weaker roster than we had intended show up, and luckily Gekko and Cruniac saved our asses by playing for us. But yeah, it worked out the way it did.
Flag.
Fair enough. Looks like the two Tro are going to meet in the middle, Adrenaline and Eastwind
Flag captured.
on those.
Flag.
I thought it was funny because initially both me and Rat King chose this exact variant, FR Havel Jameer or whatever, FR Shadow. Like we both chose this, but I changed mine so we didn't have double picks.
And then neither team wanted to pick it all through the series. Right at the end.
That's funny. What influenced your decision to pick this map?
It's fun.
Any particular reason? Just the layout of the
It's just
geography and.
very unusual to have Trow with a light unit set, so it's kind of a fun map for that reason.
Fair enough.
Yeah, so like it's like one super unit, and the rest is just cattle.
Yeah,
I really like this map, however it's pronounced. It has a lot of variety.
Yeah, it's got
Definitely.
the river snaking through it with the wall. I like the wall. It's like Creep on the Borderlands kind of style.
Yeah, this is one of my more favorite maps in the game. It just it rarely plays out in the same fashion, and I don't really understand why. But it usually is a pretty different game. Other than you find that there's a pretty heavy melee set going to the flanks usually.
I
Looks
feel
like
like I see a lot of this mesh in Poison Holiday. Just with like the 7 different crossings.
Yeah, I would say that influenced it a little bit. The whole point of making Poison Holiday was just to have like a really strange river system where there's crossings middle as well.
I see.
yeah, a little variant on the 3-prong.
Yeah, exactly. There's just so many maps where it's just 3 prongs, and Poison Holiday there's technically 5 to 7, and this map has quite a few as well. There's basically 5 crossings here, and middle as well.
There's 7 altogether, I think. Well, I don't know. Can you cross at the very end? I'm not sure.
I don't know, but
Is that possible?
Adrenaline made a game move, just went south and left the trolls.
Oh, there you
right
go.
on middle.
Yeah,
Where's Eastwind? Oh, he's off mid.
yeah. That's
It's
so
like
the
we
Tro.
have no chance to
It's an
do
unusual,
anything to the throw.
How
unusual
the hell did we
situation.
lose this?
I don't know. I really don't know how we won this.
Well, I mean, it's
Flag captured.
TWF is in the lead in terms of percentages, so. And actually, Eastwind hasn't taken very much damage at all.
I think we should refer to Eastwind as Death Bastard for the rest of the.
Good old DB.
Flag captured.
Exactly.
Was that his handle back in the World War II days, or?
Yes, it
Oh
was.
yeah.
Captured.
Little
I forget if he was a duelist. I want to say. I think Cruniac knows best here.
Yeah, he was in Duelist and Cadre. He pretty much all the lesser orders because he couldn't cut it in the big clan.
How many people was he on those teams?
I think he's just one. I think he only ever used the name Death Bastard when he played World War II. A lot of people that were originally World War II, a lot of them changed their name. Like I know Zaire used to only ever be called like Darkseid when he played World War II.
Yep.
And he changed as well. And then Death Bastard, he changed as well. There's like the other people that changed their name.
There was specifically like a stigma of World War II players being like terrible at regular, so I think they all changed their names because they didn't want to be stuck with that.
I think
That's
Yeah,
you're
right.
they
right.
shed the skin.
Yeah, like the 2-year process of having to prove yourself just to get more than like one unit.
Ooh, nice shot from Adrenaline. Taking
Realistically,
out that
though,
dwarf.
a lot of the World War II players became excellent regular players because of how much they had to micro and do like Twitch stuff.
Yeah, it makes us good with small unit sets.
Oh yeah. Because then once they stepped up the big games, they'd be handling the Tros, be handling the Herons.
Yeah, I mean, you look at it, you have Death Bastard, you have Zur, you have
Karma.
you have Sam, you have Cruniac, who are all some top-notch World War II players, and you know, not coincidentally, are some of the best Trow players.
Technically, Kirk too, because he originally started in like Urban Recon.
Totally. I mean, I played World War II a lot as well, and you know, I was a Trow player a lot back when I wasn't so much of the captain
Autocrat too, he was pretty decent.
that he was.
And Sam, right?
Yeah, Sam.
Flag captured.
Dark
Cryptos.
Angel and Little Rascal were both pretty. Yeah, Cryptos too.
So is Kryptos really skater for life? Is that definitely who he is?
Yeah, so he was more kind of like a
Yeah.
mid-tier World War IIer.
I did not know that.
Gekko, you dropped.
Unfortunately, the home flag is being contested here for.
Victory imminent.
Gekko realized he didn't like the team he subbed for.
Oh, did he drop
I
from the
don't-
game?
I don't remember
yeah.
what happened.
Yep, Gekko just dropped in the middle of the game. I don't know
Gekko
if he
copied
lost
him
his
in.
units or what.
No, I
And
just
So it's
I don't
these
know what
last two
happened.
flags.
I
victory
lost my
imminent.
units way earlier.
Gekko fed and dropped.
I guess
Yeah,
so. That
probably.
must be what it is. And where's
I think
the
everyone-
Tro?
Undercover
That's
agent.
Friggin' feeder.
I think everyone was just playing pretty relaxed at this point, you know, just to play some games. So
I didn't see how, but Adrenaline lost the Tro, and all of a sudden there's nothing on flag 7 for Syndicate. Well, a small consolation, they pick up the Tro kill. But
Looks like that is
Yeah.
all she wrote.
yeah, I think Limp's gonna clean up with the Berserks, and that should be
Yeah, I
it.
just can't clear flag 4 in time.
Flag captured.
Yeah.
Sudden death.
Where's flag 4? Oh, right here. Yeah.
Oh, that was actually really close.
It's closer than I expected it to
Weird
be.
it's weird how many flag rally games always come down to that.
That dynamic where the contestation at the end.
Yeah, and like the game's won, but like the other team ends up getting the other flag. That's
Oh, that's a good point. I'm not sure.
I think flag rally is probably the
flag rack.
flag rag. I think flag rally is the most intense game type, honestly.
It certainly can be. I think that's why we see flag rally picked up as often as it is. I think it's probably 2 out of any 5 games in a tournament setting is probably flag rally.
Well, it's like the only game type where you actually actively have to guard more than one flag because you can't just only guard one and just give up victory in that right away because then it's over.
Yeah, and you
That's
have
true.
to utilize the whole map usually. So
Yeah, it forces you to spread
makes
out.
for a good games. I really like it. Black Rally is one of the best.
Can go one way or the other so fast.
Yeah.
The judging from the stats, I think we're all a little bit tired. It is pretty late, and we've been casting for quite some time. But judging from, I do want to go over the stats just really quickly. Eastwind on the Tro, 16 kills, 2 losses, 55 damage. It's going to be the most in this game, basically showing us that he is, as everyone says, one of the better players playing currently. Adrenaline had the Tro for Syndicate, and he only managed to net 31 damage. He had, 8 kills, 4 losses, so still not too terrible, but the Tro, I guess you're expected to net most of your team's damage or a significant share of it.
Gotta carry the load.
Yep.
Or sometimes just not mess it up.
You should definitely end the game with a pretty high KDA if you have Tros, you know?
Yeah, I that's typically
Kill death ratio.
what you try to do. Yeah. Although in a game with fetch, I guess the people with the fetch can do that, but we see that
Any
often.
kind of artillery can, really.
But
You just have to
Unless
play
they're
very
left
well.
alone.
I had a pretty good time playing this match, though. It was, when it tied up 2-2, it was like, all right, this is getting exciting now. So I had a fun match.
I think everyone in the lobby was rooting for Syndicate.
It seems so.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think
it
so.
felt good, man. It felt good to have a crowd.
Paris, I was going through
Spectators.
my films really quick, and it was like just when I came back to Myth again. I freaking played in that tournament with you, and I joined that team you're on. It was that week where we were the only 2 people that showed up, and I have like 5 films of it's just me and you and the 47 Ronin playing against freaking Alfie. We're playing against Alfie, 2 smoking guns, and some other freaking chimp, and we just like steamroll these 3 guys.
Well, good times, man. We made it to the finals.
Oh yeah, freaking Raisin Barn, like we're against Alfie and 2
It sounds-
with like 91% left.
Yeah, it was pretty interesting. Milkman was saying, like, yeah, everyone was rooting against the old Myth aristocracy and, like, me and stuff. And I was like, I don't know, man. I don't give a shit.
Look at
Yeah, man.
look at Osmodian.
Even in losing this match, it was probably the most fun I had losing in MWC finals, just because, I don't know. Maybe
Yeah,
it was being on VOIP. Maybe it was just the way the games turned out. Like, we got steamrolled in some obvious spots where we looked back and we all just kind of agreed after. We were like, wow, we all played like shit. Like, what the fuck were we thinking? You know? Like, why even bother with the ballsy stuff when we could have just played it much simpler, and it might have worked out a little different.
Did you enjoy our fabricated rivalry that I had to conjure up out of thin air?
Yeah, but I mean, I saw it coming on early from the beginning because you name your team TWF, and Sin was like the team that came from TWF. You know what I mean? So it really set the stage. And it's a huge shout out to all those old veteran players too, so it was cool to see some of them show up for the tournament as well, you know?
Yeah, for sure. It was pretty interesting. I cannot believe that, like, Shaitan and Trevelyan actually came back to Myth, and I think Trev played every single match and did excellent. I think he was like one of the ratio leaders of the tournament, but yeah, I don't know. It just kind of seemed like going into it that there was no real, what's the word I'm looking for?
Rust?
Yeah, I guess there was just no distinct rivalry. It's like, I played with most of the players on your team and you on mine, so I figured I would just conjure up some bullshit to at least make it a little bit exciting, and hopefully that happened.
Yeah, man, and it did. And it's funny you mentioned Trev, because I think my team and teammates, and even myself, we underestimated him a lot during the tournament. When we played against you guys, he would put up big numbers, like, every time, man. And, like, I seen the argument in the forums that Eastwind was the MVP, but, like, looking at the way he was really holding his ground in those early, like, 2 wins you guys had, his play was just so solid there.
Yeah, I mean, even back in the day, he was very formidable. He was one of the best archers in the game. He was excellent with all forms of artillery, but
Just could never show up, man.
yeah, exactly. But
Freaking dying watching this game. We're playing against freaking Alfie, 2 smoking guns. Killed like 37 of Alfie's units with 1 spider came out of his bar, and he just is clueless. He just keeps typing out TSG. He's like, the spider moves so fast. Help. Just fucking just oblivious. 1 spider just rampaging his archers just in a line. He's just typing a freaking and Alfie just responds back after like a good 3 minutes. He's just like, okay, I'm coming. And then he's just like, I'm all dead.
I mean,
Fucking love these chimps.
I think it was pretty interesting and kind of funny too. I mean, I wouldn't have really employed kind of the tactics that I did had we not teamed together in 2012, Phil. Like that was something I learned from you. Like rile up the opponent, I would say.
Oh,
I was going to point that out.
2013?
Like, what I wanted to point out was the psychological aspect. I think I've seen Paris pull this same kind of thing to try to get into the, get under his opponent's skin a little bit.
It's part of the game, man.
Oh
Because,
no,
I mean,
and that's
we're
what I'm
playing
saying, and I've seen
this
you
game of
exploit
patience,
that.
man.
I've seen
You have to, man. That's why, like, I really enjoyed playing with Sin, and I felt like it would be a challenge to really just invite players to build whatever rosters they wanted against Sin, and we would go up against that. Like, just, I've been awake for like over 30 fucking hours. I'm losing that
so
shit.
so how's it feel to get a taste of your own medicine, Paris?
I mean, it's all part of the game, man. I mean, that's part of myth. I definitely, I thought that it would be a challenge, and it was. Still, Syndicate, great bunch of guys. I mean, I might not have been able to play with them a couple years before and handle myself in the same way, but I kind of look at everything a little bit differently now, and it was a lot of fun, man. Even like sometimes, like the Rages and the Tilters, man, you gotta unite around that fire and that passion they can bring, man. I always loved that. I feel like Syndicate always brought that, so
Definitely.
it was good stuff, man. And that was the thing, was we would get under people's skins just if we beat them, they'd be like, how the fuck are we losing to these guys, dude? And they'd start getting on tilt, and we'd pull off miraculous shit every once in a while.
That's true. I mean, the GKG Rat King rivalry that formed from the Winter Series loss it's a magical thing.
Oh yeah, man. I mean, and it stems even earlier from like a far ago fucking TWS between, or maybe it was a draft tournament.
It was Osmodian's draft tournament 2012. I know because I actually played in that on GKG's team, and we ended up losing. Cruniac, you were on our team.
Which
The
team?
Legacy.
The Osmodians draft tournament after Myth World Cup in 2012.
Is that the one where we fucking raped like WTC in the finals?
That's the one where we lost because I think Drunken, he was on our team, and
no,
he ended up going on Rat King's team, and they totally schooled us. Like, he took our flag in one game.
We lost. There's no freaking way we should have ever lost that team. It was freaking Genghis fucking blew massive.
That was when Genghis was at the top of his game.
Yeah, because it was a freaking draft tournament. Our team was stacked as shit. It was like GKG, me, Genghis, Gekko, Homer, and we had like 2 other people as well. Like, there's no way.
I was on that team, man. I was the last pick, I think.
I'm gonna have to look that up right now. I want to see the team again. It was like 2013.
I think it was 2012, yeah. Anyway, that's I remember because I was there, but yeah, that's when the rivalry, the beginnings of the rivalry, the seeds were planted, right?
Well, the thing that's strange is that Rat King, myself, and GKG were on the winning MWC team in 2014, actually.
Yeah.
I don't think that tournament's on the list anymore. I think it's too old. Sad.
The one you're talking about might have been on.
Oh yeah, it was
Gate of Storms.
It was before Gate of Storms. Yeah.
It's like the last Marius Net tournament.
Gate of Storms was 2013, I think. So.
It was indeed.
But all right. Any closing comments before we wrap it up, you guys?
Well, as tournament organizer, I'd just like to thank all the players for coming out to play and all the teams performing. And I had a lot of fun putting it all together. I was glad we could work with the format where everyone gets the team with whoever the hell they want. And no one's just stuck with one roster. You show up, and then you only got 3 teammates showing up. You're fucked out of the tournament. I'm not down for that. So I hope that everyone had fun with that style. And yeah, I'd just like to thank everyone coming out and playing.
I'm sad that
Thank you, Par, for organizing the whole thing. I think it was good tournament. We got a good turnout. Good
Yeah.
games.
Despite the best efforts of Limp to undermine it.
Oh yeah, I mean maybe not my best efforts. But
You wanted to make it more fascinating. I thought it worked.
I feel like it was much more fascinating. I mean, I didn't even really conjure that idea myself. We were sitting on Discord, and Ku was like, "You should have an uprising. You should host it. You should just make your own tournament." I was like, "Well, if it doesn't work, that seems like it's going to cause like a whole shitstorm that'll be super entertaining. So let's do it." And I feel like it did.
I remember that too, because I remember talking shit to him 1 or 2 days before. I was like, what's he going to do? And then you started flipping the fuck out. I was like, oh, I knew this motherfucker was behind this.
I want to
Good
thank
stuff,
Ellen
though,
for
man.
reminding me of like the most stacked draft team to ever lose.
What's that?
Said I want to thank you for reminding me again of like our team being
yeah.
the most probably stacked team ever somehow in a draft tournament to lose.
Yeah, who knows how that happened, but I
Yeah,
remember.
that team had no business even losing like one game.
This
That team
game
was
is unforgivable, though. That's why. And that's why we play it, too, is because, like, someone fucks up and they are fucked. And
I know,
you
but
are
I mean-
laughing all the way to the bank if you are not on that team.
it made no sense because I can't remember. I think there were even like 6 teams in that tournament, and somehow we ended up with GKG, Genghis, myself, Homer, and Gekko all on the same friggin' team. And there was still like I think there was like one other like really good player too. Like it was better than most teams that win friggin' MWC, and we had in the draft.
Yeah, I remember. It looked like SP, man.
I will say that that kind of failed uprising actually ended up really helping my team because it really did give us those scrimmages versus GKG, which made us a lot sharper, frankly. So it ended up helping us in the end.
I was thinking that, too, the whole time. I was like, damn, dude, we have no one to fucking scrim with. And, you know, you got Boomtown and the White Foundation playing every week. And Asmo was like, you shouldn't count our forfeit. And I was like, dude, how the fuck am I going to give you a gimme when you and TWF go and having your practice matches? We had no one to fucking scrim with, man. I think we played, I don't know, we played against 2 or 3 teams that we went 5-0 against like 3 weeks in a row. So by the time we had to play TWF the second time, man, they were a whole different team and we were much different, you know?
Absolutely. It was a whole different scenario at that point.
It was
Good stuff.
Good tournament.
Remember friggin'
I played
TWF,
four
you guys
different
got
teams all tournament, so it was nice. I actually forgot that I was playing with Boomtown.
Gekko, you were just like the most important cell stored the entire tournament.
That's nice.
I mean,
you
Cryptos put it in work too, man. He played like 80% of the games played, maybe? I don't even know.
Well, I'm sure you played in a number of, because I remember you streamed, and actually anyone who's watching still should probably check out the streams, because didn't you put those on YouTube or something? You were streaming most of the
Yep.
matches.
Yeah, when you stream on Twitch, it'll save your recordings on there, and it gives you an option to export.
Right on. So I should probably put a link or something in the video description pointing that out for anybody who's interested, because a lot of those were actually pretty good and communicated a lot of the nuance that I missed as a caster as to the intensity of some of these matches. And also too, a lot of the matches were earlier in the tournament, and you know I wasn't able to cover most of the tournament, so there's some extra coverage there if anyone's interested in checking that out.
I did what I could, man.
Just sheer laziness.
What's that?
I said, why did you not cover it? Just sheer laziness.
I was on
Blah, blah, blah.
vacation and blah blah blah. But anyway, it's not important.
It's all good, man.
But yeah, thanks for joining me, everybody. I appreciate having you on, hearing your voices, hearing what you have to say. I thought I had fun, so I hope you did too, and I hope anyone who's viewing enjoyed these casts as well. So yeah, thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next match.
Game over.
West Docks.
Zach,
Harris, it's got to be